What's up, everybody? Welcome to Flagrant 2, No Easy Buckets. It's Friday when this is coming out. Recording this on a Wednesday. The Kobe thing is still thick.
Yeah.
Now we're starting. It's really everything. You know what's crazy? And we talked about this on the Flagrant 2 podcast. Nobody has a Kobe story that doesn't involve him leaving to work out. Every story, like
it's a motive.
From every person
everything is about how he's just like after a game stayed in the gym till 2 o'clock in the morning, and people are going, "What are you doing? You just played a 4-quarter NBA game." And no, I gotta get. Yeah, he's just. I'm gonna be honest. It's actually weird how it's affected me.
Yeah,
same.
I think it's because like my son's life is basketball.
Really?
Yeah, YouTube clips,
Thank
practice,
God you didn't say helicopter.
shooting, everything like that. And he's just like we had to tell him like Kobe, and he was like, no. So I think seeing him react and just like, but like that's like my childhood, man. Like that's
Did you guys get in a helicopter?
I flew in a helicopter.
I'm sure he has.
I flew in a helicopter time. One time.
Let me say who's here. By the way, this is oftentimes what we do. We don't tell people who's here for a few minutes.
Okay.
We have a good friend of the show, Paul Virzi, very
up?
funny comedian, and now we have a new friend of the show, old friend of ours, Alex Pavone. I've called you Pavone.
Yes.
Akaash calls you Pavone.
See.
Now, how do you pronounce your?
It is
name?
Pavone.
It is Pavone.
Yes.
If we're being Italian about it.
That's how you say it.
Okay.
My dad says it.
How do
like
you
that.
say it when you go on stage?
Pavone.
Okay, so I'll say Pavone.
Thank
Okay, so back to you.
Yeah.
You'll still fly on a helicopter? You're
No,
good
no.
buddies with Bert. I'm
No.
sure he's invited you in the helicopter.
One time I was with Bert and Dean Del Rey and the guy that trained Bill to Fly. And we went from
Train Bill to fly.
I don't care about anybody except he said Dean Del Rey. I was like, I don't know who the fuck that is. Don't really care.
You don't know Dean?
you know, Dean's a comic.
No, I don't know.
You don't know Dean? Okay.
He ain't Bert. I'll tell you that.
So Dean's a comic, and then the guy who trained him, like you gotta like when you get hours in the sky, you can't go up. Bill can't go up there alone. When you start flying, you need like the guy with a certain amount of hours.
So,
exactly.
Or scuba diving, all that kind of shit.
You need the trained guy.
So
to,
he's
like,
the pilot and Bill's flying the helicopter?
no. Bill's the pilot.
That's what I'm
But
saying.
the guy that kind of
Yes.
there is a co-pilot
Yes.
who like trained Bill, but Bill's flying. Bill's flying.
Yeah.
So we're going from Burbank to perform in Santa Barbara. So he's like, we're taking the helicopter. Now I'm already uncomfortable because I don't like that shit.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Also,
I don't like,
when are you comfortable?
I mean,
when are you really, truly comfortable?
Yeah, when I'm sitting at home with a red wine, and on Sunday with pasta and you know what I mean, and the game's on.
In your space. You're comfortable in your space.
I'm comfortable in my space for sure.
Yeah.
So he's like, no, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. And I was as much as it was cool going down the coast and seeing the ocean, and you're low and it's cool. It's also like the way you're moving. Like all of a sudden you're sitting there and you're like a bumblebee, bro.
Really?
You're just like when the wind, you're just like that. And I'm be honest with you, like I was worried a lot of the time, and then coming back, you can't see. So what they look at is the highway. So
somebody was telling me this.
So the
What do you mean you can't see?
So it's night, right? So
dark.
even
Oh,
if you
I see
got
what you're saying.
light, right?
Okay.
You need something to drive you or something to plot the course. It's literally why the fucking Nina Pinta and Santa Maria were using the stars. This is the only thing
Okay.
that was projecting any sense of light or direction.
That's right.
So they follow, even during the day, they follow the highways.
Yeah, you follow the highways. That's where they know like the
Gotcha.
course is. So at night, the lights, and especially in LA with the traffic, you can see. But we're over the ocean. It's pitch black.
Yeah.
And we hit some turbulence up there.
Yeah.
And everybody got a little, Bill, I got to be honest, Bill was so calm and chill. And like, but we were moving around like, and I was like, I just want to get the fuck out of this thing.
Yeah.
Like I was like thinking of my kids, like, dude, I'm fuck.
Well, they
fuck
were
this.
breaking down an interesting thing which is, and I never really considered this. They can't really fly too high
No.
because then they'll be in the way of the planes. So they're
yeah.
kind of limited to this beneath the planes, obviously above the earth space, right? But that fucks you when there's like a mountain you got to climb over and then go into the clouds.
And isn't there a level that they have to be above to get the what's it called? The radio transmission sequence?
No, that's right. And then there's a different thing that you can use underneath. Bill was breaking this whole thing down but he's like so into it. He was using what is it called when you have a few
Like
letters?
the language.
Yeah, he was using language and a few letters that say all the words.
Yeah, like the IFR.
Acronym or something like
all
that.
the
IFR,
acronyms.
IVF.
Yeah, like
yeah,
that they
yeah.
have to get like certain permission with certain weather.
Yeah.
And
I was so excited to be in the combo. I was like, oh yeah, that IVF be getting you, bro.
that's
Yo,
You got
once
the
you get
IVF?
into vitro, it's like a whole different type of fertilization.
That's hilarious.
So yeah, so it was just, it's just they were just in a fucked up situation, and now you get to see all these stories come out, man. And granted, I'm sure the safest time to travel in a helicopter is after a helicopter crash, or the safest time to travel on a plane is after a plane crash, right? Like everybody's on their P's and Q's now.
Son,
Well, unfortunately, and I hate to say this about somebody that deceased, rest their soul and all that, but the pilot made a big, that they, from what I was told, like when he was going up in the air, people are like, dude,
What are you
that's like
doing?
a foggy condition. Like,
First had 14% chance of making it.
the thing is,
14%
What?
chance, yeah, and they took it. Everybody was like,
Kobe
why
know
would
that?
you
But that's
even do
isn't
that?
that Kobe's like go? Like, isn't it on him to say like we're gonna do
Well,
this?
nah, because the
Ultimately-
pilot, right?
ultimately, I think it's on the pilot.
if the
but I'm
pilot has
sure-
final say to be like, we can do this, I can get us here, we can do this. Do you know what I mean? But like those conditions, when you like, we could get in an airplane when it's hazy or starting to rain. They can't. It was like what you were saying before. You can't be up there. When
Can I
you
say,
can't see.
I think history has taught us it's not always easy to say no to Kobe.
Yeah. yeah.
I mean, like,
Jesus.
that's a hard guy to say no to.
Akaash Shafir over here going for it. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, but my comment
buy
was,
that
me a
fucking-
second.
Do you guys buy the... No, and the girl didn't say no to Kobe. Dude, did you read his response when everybody's bringing up these fucking losers? But like,
Yeah, fuck. By the way, CNN. I just want to say, man, the way
Fuck CNN.
This guy's helicopter was still on the ground burning.
Yeah.
And CNN's like saying all of his positive accolades, and then they're like, and he did have a sexual assault case, and it's like him and his daughter just got fucked. Can you just fucking?
Yeah.
can people not chill?
Like it
There
was
is no
like,
chill
they
anymore,
didn't
buddy.
give you like 10 minutes to digest the fact that an American icon has just perished. They're talking about shit. Would she drop the case? And it's like what you said the other night. It's like she dropped the case. You
it's
know,
consensual now.
if you drop the case and you take money, like there, you know what I mean? Like
Seems fucked up. They're asking you, what is your price to turn this into consent? And then
you
they're
think
like,
it's that you think it's that you go that far.
I would even say,
That's what you're doing when you're going to somebody. When you're going to a girl, she's like, you raped me or you sexually assaulted me. And you're like, okay, $20 million did we just make out?
Right.
And then she's like, yeah, that's the price. That's the price. Like everybody goes, how much would it cost to suck a dick? How much would it cost for consent?
right.
That's the price.
But let me ask you something. If
consent
you
or
got-
forgiveness.
No, because
But I'm saying if she even at that point, if she forgives,
I ain't paying you no $20 million to forgive. That shit got to be
Was that
off
what it
my
was? 20
record.
mil? Was it 20 mil?
I don't know. I thought it was 25. But I always
25?
assume it's 25 because Weinstein gave 25. So I was like, that's the rape
that
cost.
number.
yeah, but you're not accounting for inflation, yo.
Yo, they look
25
it up.
back in the day,
Yeah.
probably 50 now.
That's 03,
They
right?
look it up.
So,
They look it
geez.
up. Like how much? It's in a book. Okay, no, this one. No, it says right here. It says right here.
What was he, 6'6"?
Wait, it was in Denver. Hold on, get the book.
That's high altitude. Butthole
That's
barely
hilarious.
stretches at that fucking height.
Yo,
Get the
yeah,
book.
butthole barely stretches at altitude.
Dude, you're
Yo.
what are you, a mile up in the
You're
air?
a mile high.
Dude.
But I feel like if you really, and I don't know, but if you really got raped, wouldn't you want to see that shit through? Like,
Yo,
for
what we
corrupt-
said on the last or next week's episode is this, is that
And I don't want to take away from her.
No. We're not taking it. We're just trying to be like realistic about shit. I would understand taking a settlement if there was no such thing as a civil suit. Okay.
Yeah.
In other words, you had one shot to sue somebody,
Right.
get justice, and get some bread in the meantime, right?
Right, get
But
both.
get both. But you can lose, like with OJ, you can lose the justice case, sue him in civil court, and win.
Yeah.
So he was, and it's way easier to win a civil case.
Yeah, because you don't have to prove
What is it?
beyond a reasonable doubt.
Beyond a reasonable
yes,
doubt.
Yes.
So I'm watching this whole thing go foot, and it's like, oh, you don't care about the justice part. You want to get your money, which is fair because if someone, and I was saying this on next week's episode when it comes up, but it's like, yeah, if I was raped, I'd want the money.
I'd want the money.
Yeah, unless I thought you were a serial rapist. Like if I thought you were a serial rapist, then I'd be like, nah, you got to go in because I don't want other people to go through what I went through.
Right.
But if I thought you got a little drunk and got a little handsy with me, but I was like, he's probably going to learn his lesson.
So you're thinking that
20 mil from you.
it's not a you're thinking it's a one-time thing. This is not
I do it
something
for
he
10.
does. This is not something he does regularly.
Virzi for 10
I appreciate you.
Offers out there. You know what I
after
mean?
a couple Chiantis. Dude, Virzi got bougie. We're at the stand after the Patrice benefit, and they go, yeah. He's like, I'll have a red wine. She's like, what type of red wine? You're like, yeah, maybe a little more low or something. She's like, well, listen, there's some free included red wine. And then he goes, well, I mean, what do you got? She goes, it's a Chianti. And he goes, I'll have a Merlot.
With a hand. The Merlot.
Give me that free shit.
Yeah. I don't want this house shit.
Merlot and Jordans. That's something.
Yo, you guys got good taste.
How good was that Patrice benefit?
Oh,
dude?
it was so cool,
yo,
man. You did great,
That
man.
was so did you, dude.
Thank
The
you,
whole,
buddy.
you know what the thing was about it? Maureen Tarrant put together such an amazing lineup, but
Shout out to Marine, man.
it was, you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of a JFL gala where it was just monster comic, and all of us felt honored to be there.
Yeah.
And it was like monster comic, and everybody like nervous energy, but good. Like, let me go out there, and just everybody delivered, man. And it was a fucking crazy thing to be a part of. It was an honor to be a part of it, man. It was dope, man.
It was an honor, man.
And the other cool thing was all the comics. Maureen said it was the first year in the 8 years that almost every comic was down there watching every comic waiting. So it was like, usually like most of the guys are up in the green room and there's like one or two or whoever's on deck is down there. No, this was like, there was like another audience to the right. It was pretty, and of all comics that you respect, it was so dope, man.
Bro,
it was dope.
you go.
You've probably seen this, but it was cool to see Bert like kind of nervous before he
Did
went
you
up.
already said he was walking by and he goes, you know, this is a lot to follow. And I go, Bill, man, they know what's coming.
Because
out,
Louis
you know.
dropped in right before Bert went up.
Oh, he went right before.
Louis dropped in, goes up right before
That's
Bert.
pretty cool.
Crushes.
So as he's up,
And here's the
Bert is-
thing. Burr's going up maybe now 2 hours after the show started.
10th.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, 9th
10
or
acts.
10th. Yeah, 9.
Joe DeRosa went up twice.
Yeah, and even before that, the second
Bombed twice. Joe managed to bomb twice in the same show. That was unbelievable.
I missed everything with Joe. I was parking my car. Like, they let me move my car. I missed everything.
Like he went over his time.
You missed nothing.
Yo, do you remember the commercials they would have where they would draw like it was like a Pizza Hut commercial? They would draw a smiley face on a hand and the hand would be a puppet. That's Joe DeRosa.
Fuck.
But Bert, the second time Joe went up, and I took this to be like, when you're like, the audience is going to be tired, you're kind of in your head. Yeah. Bert said some shit like, oh, Joey's got to get his dick hard tonight or whatever. But like he was freaking out because Joe DeRosa went up a second time and he was in his head about it.
I'm
Like,
so confused. Why did he go up a second? Was he hosting?
Well, he
so
wasn't
confused.
on the show, right?
Okay.
Which was probably the way.
Patrice would have wanted it.
Jesus.
Right, and then like a male comic from the '90s, forced himself on. No, and then he told a Patrice story. That actually had a cool
I liked the
ending.
story.
The story was cool.
I
The story
liked
was
the
cool.
story.
What was the ending? It wasn't memorable. It wasn't memorable.
He watched Golden Girls with Patrice. For some reason, he suggested to Patrice. This is funny.
Oh, yeah, they're at
He's in a
JFL.
hotel room with Patrice at JFL.
JFL is just for last. Anybody listen?
Montreal
It's Montreal Comedy Festival. Yeah.
And for some reason, they're
Where another comic on the show got infamous. Was it Montreal or Aspen?
That was Aspen, I think.
Oh, Aspen. Okay.
It was Aspen. Yeah, definitely Aspen.
Yeah, I didn't remember till you asked. But Patrice and him were trying to think of something to do, and Joe DeRosa was like, I have Golden Girls season 5 on DVD.
Yeah.
And like, as soon as he says it, he's like, oh God, Patrice is gonna fucking destroy me. Why do I even have this DVD? Whatever. And then Patrice is like, all right, throw it on. And they watch it, and Patrice doesn't say anything for the entire episode. And Joe's freaking out in his head, like, oh my God, Patrice is going to fucking melt down at any moment and destroy my self-confidence. Patrice says nothing. And then at the end of the episode, at 30 minutes, Patrice, completely straight face, hasn't laughed, hasn't smiled, just goes, Betty White is a genius.
That's just typical
That's-
Patrice.
And he's right.
He is right.
Real talk.
absolutely
right.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
So he tells a story, good laugh. And
That's the first one.
that's the first one.
Okay.
To be fair, it needed a Patrice story. The benefit is for him, but none of us really referenced him.
At the very end of my thing, I just said that
All
I
of
was
us-
scared, like open forum. I was scared, and he was.
Oh
great.
yeah, you had a. Yeah,
I said
yeah,
at
yeah,
the
yeah.
end of my set, I just said I just want to say that I had the pleasure of opening for him twice, and I was literally scared. And also, my mentor and best friend was Bert at the time, and they had a falling out. So in my head, I had all this stuff
You
because
gotta
that was when
choose
the Opie and
sides.
Anthony. Yeah, and then I'm like at Bananas with Patrice after the Opie and Anthony blowout with him and Bill, and I'm like, man, I don't know. And I had all this crazy thing, and he was actually really nice and really cool. So I just mentioned that to the crowd, and that was it. But DeRosa was at the stand, and he saw Marina. He goes, "You mind if I show up to the?
Yeah.
You mind if I show up and give 2 minutes?" But I didn't know he went up again.
Yeah.
So he felt the energy of the room. He
And
he
to
had
be
a
fair to
great
Joe,
story.
we're clowning
Great
him.
story.
And the second time he went up, he said one thing and got off. But
The second time.
The second time,
Oh,
it
when he
was
called
just-
him a cunt.
It was like Voss and him went at it. I'm busting balls. It was
Yeah, yeah,
it was
yeah, yeah,
actually good, and it
Right,
was
right,
he's
right,
part of that world, so it was cool to like
Yeah,
bring
yeah,
him
yeah,
into
yeah.
that world. But it's just funny that he wasn't on the show and went on twice. How is that possible?
So Burr's nervous.
which is crazy.
But Louis,
It is
Louis
really-
goes up to a standing O, right?
Yeah, so
he's
there's-
not on the show. It's a surprise. So
Deserved.
and
Yeah.
then goes up and does great. And now I'm sure he's been experiencing this on the road every time he goes up, but I doubt that he's experienced a show this size in New York since the incident.
Right. And here's the thing. They started chanting Louis' name, and Burr was like, they're chanting his name. Like, so think about this for a second.
Son, they stood up as he walked on.
Yeah, they stood up as he walked on, and then he does a great job. And
2,000
yeah.
plus.
Plus.
Louis going up and killing.
And Louis going up also on a Patrice benefit where it's like that's his crowd.
Yeah.
So everybody was into it. And the show's about 2 hours old now. And then Bill goes on. And the funny thing is, as soon as Bill went up,
Fucking A.
it was almost a bigger standing.
Fucking
It was
A.
like when Bill went up, it was like an instant
I
standing.
listened from backstage, and
Bro.
you just listen to who's getting applause and whatnot. I was just kind of keeping an ear on it. Bill got the loudest pop, I thought, when he went on.
No, when
Yeah.
Bill walked out, it was bigger than it was
Bigger
actually
than what
bigger
Louis
than
got.
Louis. Yeah,
I think
it was.
Louis, there was a shock and awe, and oh fuck, I pay this money and I get this drop in, dope,
Yeah.
bonus.
When Louis walked
But-
on, it was like when John Starks dunked on Jordan Lefty.
Yeah.
Where if you listen to it, no,
know.
go, no. After
New
I said,
Yorkers love to point out it was Lefty. First of all,
I know.
I
didn't know it
didn't
was
even
lefty.
dunk on Jordan. Jordan like showed up afterwards.
I love how
He,
Nick
like,
said,
sort
I
of
know.
slid out of the way.
Yeah. First of all, like Jordan
It's
was at
the
the
picture
three-point
that
line.
makes it look like that. Jordan ran over to help.
Jordan was at
It was
at half
BJ
court.
Armstrong,
Yo, Nick fans,
and-
I'll be like, he dunked on the whole team. The GM was there. He dunked on the
Something
GM.
fucking Bill Paxton
Yeah,
or whoever the
it
fuck
was-
was there.
Oh, I'll start-
Barely a dunk.
Canadian from Winnipeg,
I'll
Bill
start
Paxton,
lying.
and then
Oh, dude, I'll start lying. I'm like, he dunked on 7 of them. There's only 5 in the game. I think
But we point out
Scotty
Lefty
on the
because
way.
It's hilarious.
it's extra, right?
It's extra.
It needs to be Lefty.
it was a great dunk, though.
No, but
for
listen,
sure it was.
He did come up
But-
lefty.
Oh, here it is.
Here we
got
go.
the
He
video
did
of
come
it.
up lefty.
We got the video of it.
But there's a second of shock. Watch.
Now,
I mean, come on, bro.
Stop. So-
come on, bro. That is lefty.
I want,
Jordan's at the
I
free
want
throw
everybody
line.
to listen to Virzi just watch the video and show Jordan come in afterwards to help his teammate up. He didn't even go
He's playing
after the
help
block.
defense.
Look at this. And Virzi immediately goes, "Come on, bro." Look at this. Jordan's not even close.
Jordan's not in
He
the
dunked
actual
on a
shot.
welder.
It's a little closer than you guys
He
just.
dunked
Can I
on a
have
welder.
this?
He
Horace
dunked
Grant.
on Horace Grant, who just came out of a woodshed.
All right, first of all, that's not the point.
and then
First of all, that's not the point.
Horace Grant had game.
Can I have this?
Yeah,
yeah.
Armstrong was on.
It's not
Can
the
I
point.
fucking
It's
have
not the
this?
point.
I haven't had a championship in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Can I have
This is our
this?
championship
You've had-
when you think about it.
No,
Stop.
Chris Childs.
I-
Chris
not in my
Childs.
life.
What are you talking
yeah,
about? Okay,
Chris
you
Childs,
got
but
two
we're not talking
Giants and you got
about
the,
that.
the
Oh, no,
Yankees.
no. I'm talking
We're
about the
changing the
Knicks.
logo.
Thank God you changed the logo.
Real talk. Our logo used to be Chris Childs two-piecing Kobe.
Oh,
wow.
yeah.
And we changed it a long time ago.
Oh, wow.
Thank God.
Yeah.
He
But-
smoked them, though. Chris Childs is a
He got him.
beast.
He got him twice.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
got him twice.
But anyway,
Yeah, yo, fuck Chris Child. Like now we can't totally go against it. How dare you, Chris Child, you piece of shit.
I actually went on his Instagram, though, and he gave Kobe
I got to
heartfelt-
give credit to a guy who's, I thought this was beautiful, who's been in our group chat for a while. I got a group chat with some guys, and I've never thought he was creative or smart at all. And I thought he was just a complete leech and hanger on. But he created a shirt that I thought it was brilliant, and it's Legends Live Forever, and it's Kobe's 8 turned to the side, so it's an infinity sign.
Oh shit.
Oh shit.
Oh,
That's
okay.
great.
That was cool.
That's great.
And he said he made it, and my first reaction was like, there is no way that you could have come up with that.
But
I don't care if someone rotated it. You would not put those two things together.
But doesn't it also make sense that a leecher and a hanger-on would see Kobe's death and be like, I can make money?
That makes a lot of sense.
That's the only time his brain is working. It's like, how can I capitalize?
Fuck, you're right. That's a
this.
good point.
That's funny.
That is a good point.
It's like that's what they're meant to do, right? Yeah. That's what they came here. That's what they're
You
here
know
to do.
his other big marketing, success. Remember when JaVale,
Princess Diana tiaras that came out in 1996.
No, remember when JaVale McGee dressed as like a duck or something and came to a game? Remember he dressed in like a full outfit of like a cartoon? I don't know. They try to do these little marketing ploys with the players because now whatever they wear is such a big deal. I don't know.
No, so when Louis came out, it was like a delay. It was like, so that's what I was saying. Like when Starks dunked it, if you listen like to the guard, they almost like couldn't believe it. So there was like a second of like, oh shit, and then they went nuts. That was like
Like
with
a
Louis.
gasp.
And plus
And then-
when Voss brought him out, he wanted him to bring. He's like, you guys, if you're older here, you might remember this
Yeah,
comic.
that was good intro.
You remember him from Star Search and all kinds of like weird old shit. And then
of course
he
he's
walked out,
Voss, so he said
and people.
Star Search, which makes it even better.
Did we say the AC Slater thing
Yeah,
on
yeah,
the Tuesday?
yeah.
Oh god, it was so good.
But watch it, and then Bill came out. But that's what was so cool about the show. And Maureen and I were talking about this last night.
Yeah.
What's different about the Patrice thing than I've done some big shows with Bill theaters. This was different because this is like it's to honor one of the legends whose family's there.
Yeah.
All of these amazing comedians are huddled kind of next to the curtain next to you. So it's almost like this nervous energy, got to do it. And then Burr, and that's the beautiful thing about comedy is even when you're at that level, even when you're one of those, you're just going, you're respecting your peers, you're respecting what's going on, and you're like, now it's my turn. And you see, and then all of a sudden you go out there and you become who you are.
Yeah.
And that's the best thing. Because I'm not gonna lie, when I first got there, right when I got there, okay, and I did the Garden last year, and that was more nervous than 18,000 in the round.
Yes.
But when I got here, and Maureen just goes, come here, and she goes, Virzi, and she just said it. She goes, you see where I put you in the lineup? You have to set the tone. We need the beginning. And I was just like, in my mind, I'm going like, all right. And then in my mind, I'm like, I've done this before in a lot of big rooms, but I was like, no. Like Patrice's mom's sitting in there.
Patrice, yo.
Like Patrice's mom is sitting here, and I was asked to be on this. So it's almost like you have to fuck it. You have to just come.
What year was this? What?
Bro. No, this is this year.
No, but what year? Like
be right back.
year 8?
How many years have they been doing
How many
this?
years?
This is the 8th annual.
Oh wow! And this is your first time?
Yeah.
Wow.
This is my first time.
I mean, obviously you're gonna be.
It was.
You're obviously gonna be. nervous.
You were there.
I went to hang out with Schulz.
And Andrew's first time as well.
Yes.
Yeah, and I knew what this meant to Andrew. We both loved Patrice when he was alive, but Andrew more so even than me. Andrew, like, while Patrice was alive, was like, this is the best guy to ever do it. This is the fucking guy. That's it. And he's since we started and I've known him, he's been Patrice. So I knew what this meant to him.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yo, I'm gonna go. Well, I had some shit to do. I was like, whatever, let's go. Let's be with Andrew. Let's live this moment. It was cool to see both of you guys. Because both you and Andrew, I've seen earn it.
Yeah.
And I don't mean in a way like I signed off on you. I mean like you got so undeniable that the industry was like, yo, put him on the Patrice thing. And that was so cool to see. And both of y'all, if you were nervous, I felt like you didn't show it that much. You felt like this is just what you do. This is we're here now. We're ready for this.
No, there was definitely that. The only thing lingering was this is for Patrice. Like that's the one thing. It was like this is you have to go out. Like this is one of the I can't go out on a Patrice O'Neal benefit and be.
I'd be so fucking nervous.
And be anything.
would be.
It was one of those things where, and not to mention, Bill walked down and I noticed this. Like Bill walked down because I don't open for Bill anymore. And he's like an older brother to me. And when I went down there, and he knows that I'm doing new stuff and new material, and he walked down like when he asked,
Oh, your
"When's
big brother
Richmond?"
watching
And
too.
my big brother in this thing came down, and he was just sitting next to stage watching. And one of the coolest moments for me was when I got off stage, and I knew that I delivered the way that I wanted to. Not only did I do my jokes, I did them the way that I wanted to, and I did the material that I wanted to do there. And when I walked off stage, I saw Club Soda Kenny had this proud look because he came with me and Bill on the road, and me and him had a bond, and we haven't worked
Club
together.
Soda Kenny is a comic, or
No, Club Soda Kenny is like the security, the big
Okay,
guy.
gotcha.
And he's the guy that when we would go on the road and tour,
That's who
he would be
Club
there.
Soda Kenny
Club Soda
is.
Kenny was the
Okay,
guy that
okay.
was at Opie and Anthony, and he
Okay,
originally
okay.
started with Dice, but then he worked with Norton. I
I'm
think he
not
worked
white.
with
I never
Schumer.
listened to Opie and Anthony.
So
Yeah.
So it was crazy. Like he kind of had this look, but when I walked off stage and all the comics like Bert just had his, I saw him. He looked at me and he just had this big smile, and then he walked up and gave me a fist pump, and I was like, it was a definitely a special night.
Yeah,
It's a
that's your
sign-off.
boy, man. He wants you to do great. Obviously,
You were actually there. And when I got off stage and I first kind of saw my manager, Rory Rosegarden, who was there, and everybody else, I said, what's up to him. And then you and I embraced with you, and you said some really nice shit, and then you were sitting watching. And it was just nice to not only be a part of such a mega show like that in New York City for Patrice, but to have these guys there. Everybody there, and I swear to God, I'm not just saying this because I'm on a thing, but, you know, I love Schulz. I love Andrew, right? I love Roy Wood Jr. Ronnie Chang, I love.
the best. All three of them got fucking amazing dudes.
those are good guys.
Yeah.
Those are
like
just
Ronnie
good guys.
Chang is such a good dude, and
He
like
is.
so everybody, Sam Morrell, so all of these people that were there that I really kind of knew. So I not only did I do this show, but I did it with good people. And then my dude over here who was just always like just supporting the whole show, down for like listening and watching and like taking everything in. And I saw you taking everything in, and we were even hanging out at the after party. And I was like, oh, dude, I love all these dudes here. Like everybody there. So that was really cool. It wasn't like you do a showcase with guys you never hang with, or when you see in the green room at a club, you're like, hey man, what's up? And then you go hang and then you walk away. These are like guys that like, no, if I see you in a green room at a comedy club, we're going to chop it up for a little while. And it's rare to do a fucking big show like that with a bunch of guys like that.
It was weird. It was almost like when
Bunch of monsters though. Like a bunch.
everyone's a killer on this show.
Killer, though.
Everyone is a fucking killer.
a headliner monster.
Everyone's a monster. Yeah, everyone is. Yeah, you don't want to follow this guy ever.
No.
And they're all going back to back to
And
back to back.
different too, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, she did
you
that.
know?
That's why I give Maureen credit. She finds a way to put a monster lineup together, but give a different perspective almost.
Exactly.
Like everybody's kind of has their own thing.
Oh, everyone does have their own thing.
Yeah.
Doug, it was. Paul opened it up. I don't remember the couple middle acts, but then I remember Roy Wood,
murdered.
Andrew Schulz, then Ronnie Chang, then Bill Burr.
No,
Or
then Louis.
no. Roy, then Ronnie, then
No.
Andrew, then Louis, then Bill Burr. I think, right?
No, it was
What some kind of order like
you
that.
went. You went first.
So how it went was Cypher Sounds DJ,
Okay.
and then would do like a little interaction, like start joking with the crowd.
Oh,
And he would be like,
nice.
this
Cool,
is some
cool.
real
Yeah.
New York hip hop shit. And then he would start playing some white music. Then he started getting them going. Then Voss comes out.
So
And
he hosted.
Then Voss comes out. Voss does his thing. Then I came out. Then it was Morrell, Judy Gold. But then it went Roy Wood, Andrew, Ronnie. Then Louis,
then
and then Bert.
Bill Burr.
And so it was.
I can see why Burr was in his head, but god damn it, he crushed.
Yeah, he went for it.
And you
Y'all are
know,
still talking about this? I took
Yeah.
a whole shit.
yeah.
You're still talking about Joe DeRosa bombing 3 times. Joe DeRosa bombed 4
Every
times.
time
after
Andrew comes back,
one
Joe
more
went up
time.
more.
Bro,
Dude, he was up 7 times, and he wasn't even booked.
Joe closed the show. Y'all didn't see Joe? He walked back out
As a
there with
matter
all
of
the
fact,
comics.
we
We're like, what
lied.
the
There was
fuck
no
are
other
you in
comics
this
on the show.
film?
Joe did
It was
2
just
hours.
Joe.
Yo, this is what I was gonna say to you. I was waiting for you to come back, kind of to agree, stretching, because it was cool to go back with Andrew, because it reminded me of when we started, where like, even though Andrew's killing it, you're with fucking Bill Burr and Louis C.K. and like, we're kind of the little guys in the room, and then it was just kind of like it was back at the Lantern, where we're still just being us, just being kind of loud and fucking around and like cracking jokes and whatever. And it was the first time in a long time it felt like the Lantern a little bit when we were coming up, and that was what was cool about it.
It's just great to be in those situations. There was maybe this is Shane's story to tell, but I don't know. But Judy Gold, you know how like Judy Gold wrote like a fucking article about like Shane for CNN?
No.
She did.
Yeah, fucking idiot. So apparently, like the comics who trash other comics, and I'm trashing her not as a comic, but as someone who trashes other comics.
Right.
But she goes up to Shane apparently at the after party to stand, and she's like, "Truce." And Shane's like, "Do you mean you're sorry?" The fuck are we trucing about? You trashed me to see it. I did nothing to you.
Dude, that'd be like beating
I did nothing wrong.
like us
here.
going to
like
Japan
beating the
and
shit
going,
out of
"We good?"
somebody. That'd be like beating the shit out of somebody and just
like,
stomping
"We
on. Like,
good?"
we good now?
Things are good.
I know you're bleeding, but is this over? It's like I didn't even. You fucking blindsided me, you fucking lunatic.
I got
People
curb
are
stomped here.
insane.
I don't know what's going on. Yeah, that's
fucking insane. Look, one reason why I
Yeah.
wanted you guys to come, besides the fact that I thoroughly enjoy spending time with both of you, is I wanted, because we have Super Bowl coming up, to have my two most degenerate gambling friends
Yes.
to be on the podcast. Okay. Now,
I'm
I don't know if
honored.
you know the degree to which Pavone is a.
well, I'm really looking forward to this. I know that Virzi has it under control, but I know it's an itch. It's an itch.
I like a little action.
That's my favorite.
I like a little fucking juice. I like a little fucking juice. There's nothing like having like 2-3 honey on a game and the ball's in the air. You know what I mean? When
200-300 you don't have. That's even better. Oh, that's a
When I
fun
realized
time.
Pavone had a real problem.
That's a fun
We went
time.
to Atlantic City together for Mike Albanesi's birthday.
Yeah.
Shouts to Mike. And Pavone has a fucking
Love
6-game parlay going as soon as he
I
gets
didn't
it.
hit the 6-gamer though.
A
which
6-game
sucked.
parlay, for those who don't know, means every game has like a line. Like this team will win by 6.5 or whatever. To get a 6-game parlay, you got to win all 6 to win the bet, or you'd win nothing. The odds are crazy.
Yeah,
And
if
then
you push, then your odds go down.
what he says to me as I'm talking about gambling, he goes, "This isn't even fun. It's only really fun when you like need the money. When like rent is due and this is your only
Oh, that's
chance.
some degenerate shit right
And this is
there.
your only chance of making it,
That's
or
why I
you're
don't gamble
fucked.
no more.
So wait, you've been in debt from gambling?
Yes, I have. I've been in, on lists when you have to pay interest and stuff.
You owe me
Luckily-
$10, by the way.
No, we squashed that.
Yeah, we squashed it after
and
I was up.
And I texted you.
What was
and
the
you
bet
said,
about?
"You're fine, bro.
No,
You're
I
good
said
to
I was
go."
fine.
Because he
said
felt
I was
bad for
fine,
you,
but-
son. Because
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
you
Felt bad. No,
Here's the
listen,
deal.
I don't
We
care
had
if
a
people
deal.
feel bad for me. I'm not going
Was
to
it
pay
Yan-
you.
It was,
You can do
it
whatever
was
you
the Yankees and it was the Yankees and Blue Jays.
It was the Yankees and Blue Jays.
And we said
And
Yankees-
by the way, I should have got odds on that because your powerhouse Yankees are destroying the Blue Jays, and you gave me no odds.
But you made the bet.
You did make the bet.
Yeah, you fucking idiot. You made the bet. You agreed to the bet.
I'm just saying, as a gambler, Virzi.
No, here's
you
what I
should've
love
gave
what he
me
did.
odds.
He actually, I give him, this is what I do give credit for. I think
Honor amongst degenerates.
he goes like this. He goes, all right, the whole season, Yankees, Toronto, whenever they play, just $10. And after I was up like 20,
It was it was 40.
he just nipped it in the bud. He goes, yeah, you know what? Let's stop this.
I said, but yeah, I didn't just say it like that. I go, "You're a good guy. I like your family. You gotta
did.
play the game."
Listen, he did send me some pies.
I did. Those pies were
Yeah, he
good.
sent me like little pies from Canada.
You mailed them? You put them in the mail?
mailed
My mother
frozen-
did.
he mailed
Instead-
frozen
instead
pies.
of $10. Oh, your mom did. Okay, yeah, I'll just give you $10
for Christmas. I go, Bruce has done a lot.
Post office? Are you kidding me? This
He had
motherfucker
done a
wants
lot
$10.
for me that year, and
Yeah.
so we sent them
Oh,
some
that's
stuff for
right.
Christmas.
Okay, I want to know worst situation you've been in with gambling.
I was down. I put $9,000 on a game one time.
Which game?
Wow.
It was 2007. It was me and my friends had like problems, and that's the problem because I'm from like a very predominantly first generation Italian neighborhood. So in Canada, so our epidemic wasn't like crack or like
It was
Oxycontin.
gambling.
It was gambling. So all my friends had gambling problems,
Yes.
and we didn't even know. I remember I called my buddy to tell him. I go, "Buddy, I got a gambling problem," and he's like, "Bro, so do I." He's like, "The Clippers play at 4." I'm like, "Well, this is not what I needed. I wanted you to talk me off the ledge, but now I'm coming to your house and we're taking the under. All right, well, I like that."
So 9,000.
Yes, it was
Wow.
the I pretty much
What
remember
was it?
every play. It was the
Westminster
it was the
dog show.
No,
He bet on some random ass games with a 6-game parlay.
no. Well, the 4
Go
game.
to your 9,000.
It was first of all, I was up a lot that whole year. Well, let me tell you what happened. My
I mean, you're
buddy,
talking like a
my
gambler.
buddy,
He's a fucking gambler.
listen. My buddy
He's got
found
money
a-
on the socks.
So my buddy found a glitch in the system. This was about 2006 on
Yeah.
quarter bets, NFL quarter bets. So me and him went in on the NFL Sunday Ticket,
Yeah.
right? And we would watch every kickoff. And if a guy brought it back to the house, they'd still have the odds up, okay, for the quarter. So we would take that team and the over for that quarter, if he ran back the kick. So we'd be waiting there, right? And then, soon as he ran back the kick, we'd smash everything we had on the over and that team.
And just to explain to everybody listening here, the play that you're doing is they have points on the board, but the system isn't showing the points on the board because it's a return.
The system still has the plays up for an extra 3 seconds. So we're waiting to see if someone's going to bring it to the house.
7 points.
That's essentially
Exactly.
You get spotted 7 points without affecting the bet.
The quarter, every first quarter bet is 7.
Is it still available?
I just got excited. I just got excited. Wait a minute.
Who's your guy? Who's your guy?
Bro, he grabbed a lefty like Starks. He's about to slam that fucking house payment. Babe, we're going to Aruba.
Move the mic further out of the way than Jordan was.
So I had one like this. So it was like once you win money for free, you get hot. You start cooking, right?
So when you put the $9,000, you were up thousands.
Hold on. And so I slowly started losing. Losing.
Why?
Because I started getting sour. No, those first quarter returns don't happen all the time.
Right.
You know, they don't happen. You can't win those every week.
Right.
So then you start. So then I started losing. Then you start chasing your bets. You never chase your bets, and you never bet with your.
Now,
What
what
is
is
heart?
chasing a bet?
When
mean?
you
You're
lose-
speaking to people who might not know. a lot
Sorry,
about
when
betting.
you lose like
I was a
Sorry.
Canadian.
that was a
Sorry.
Canadian. That was a
Holy
Canadian story.
shit.
Well, everybody could see my hat. World champions 2019. But
We got it right here, baby.
and
Come
I
on.
appreciate that. You know how much I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So basically, you lose 3, 4 in a row. You got to let that stop because then you start chasing it. That's when you start losing. You start putting more money down,
Yeah.
and you're sour.
What is that called in poker? You go tilt.
I'm
or
not-
full tilt.
You're on tilt.
You're on tilt or something like that.
I don't play any like
Full tilt or
cards or board or like table games, so I
Right.
don't really know. But
You don't need to judge table games, you fucking loser.
hey, you won $80, baby.
But basically chasing
That is true.
I said you don't need to judge them. That's what I'm saying.
Oh no.
basically chasing money is if you're down 750 after losing 4 games and you're down 750, you're just like,
make
you
it
know what?
back.
I'm gonna go 1,200 on the next game.
Yeah.
Not only you just want to make it all back in one shot, but then if you lose that 1,200 on top, that's when you fucking start to. That's when it happens.
So that's how I lost
that's
$9
chasing.
grand.
Yeah.
I was chasing that same game. So I took the Golden State Warriors against I believe the Oklahoma City New Orleans Pelicans. It was that year.
Yeah.
Or maybe the next year. Chris Paul was on the team. David West, they were killing me with the pick and roll. I was going to snap. And I took Golden State when they had like Jason Richardson and all these guys.
Yeah, the We Believe Warriors.
The Warriors with Steven Jackson, right?
Yeah.
The yellow jersey. They had the yellow jerseys.
Baron Davis, point guard.
I think
This is the year after, I'm pretty sure, when New Orleans was the number 1 seed.
But
or
go on.
whatever they were. Yeah.
So I take the Warriors and I took them for the game, and then they were losing at half, and I doubled down for the second half, and it was about 45 hundo each, and I lost. I was just getting crushed. Chris Paul was killing me, man. David West couldn't miss, and I was down so much money.
Yeah.
And I was down like $9,000.
And then did you have 9,000?
No.
So wait, now you're not betting this on a legal place, right? You're betting it with a bookie?
Yeah, like an offshore account. Yeah.
Okay. Now, how do they try to collect that money? What happens?
Every Thursday, you go and you have to give them the money from the prior week that you're up or down.
So what happened that next
Well, then
Thursday?
I called him up on the Monday, and I was like, "Hey, buddy, I don't have the money," but I had known him for years, and I was like, "Please don't put me on a plan, which is a 20%.
Vig.
Oh, it's a 20% interest."
That's what
Oh.
that's what a Vig is, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that what they
Yeah.
call the Vig? I thought the
Are
Vig
you
was.
Italian?
Well, yeah, I am. My parents are.
Vig. I mean, that's in.
Yeah.
Is it? Is
Canadian?
Yeah, it's a little different.
that? Yeah. So we called the Jews. So there was
We call it the Jews.
the Jews. We could call it the Jews. So yeah. So
Hold on from
Not
1938.
far off with the interest. I'm just.
Yes,
But yeah.
I owe 20% on the Shylock. And
And the greatest thing I've been called on the internet is it was something Schulz, you hook nose Shylock. Bro, we've laughed about this for a year.
Oh my.
yeah.
Hook nose
Really,
Shylock.
It's so good. So good.
oh god.
Anyway, go on.
They put me on this.
So they put you on a plan.
He didn't put me on a plan. He's a great guy.
So what did he say?
He's just like, just pay me back without the Vig,
Yeah.
which was huge because
And you're
that
not
would've
allowed to
been
bet. You're not allowed to bet until you pay him back.
Well,
He let you.
he knew I was sour. He's like, let this guy put a couple more games in, a couple more picks in. He's gonna lose a couple more, and then we could just keep adding it. But I hit a 6-game parlay, which got me. I think I won 7,200 on the 6-gamer.
How much did you put down?
$300.
So you're negative $9,000 and you put $300 on a 6-game parlay.
Buddy, this 6-game parlay started at 9 in the morning and it ended at 11:30 at night. I was exhausted. I was exhausted.
Like he played in a fucking game.
Bro, when I won,
He sat on the couch.
But
This
he been-
motherfucker sat on the couch drinking.
He been
and you would've
talking
thought
like
he
that the
played.
whole time. You didn't hear about the Golden State? Chris Paul was killing me with the pick and roll.
bro,
Like,
he
he
was
couldn't defend it.
killing me. I hated those jerseys. I was gonna buy those jerseys and burn them. I swear to God, with the yellow stripes, bro. That
This is
nine
a regular season game, by the way. He lost 9,000 in a
bro. You know what
regular
it was?
season game.
You know that 6-game.
December.
That's fucking the most. That's the most disgusting thing.
You know
about
what the
this whole thing.
6-game parlay was, though, bro? It was you remember when Amari dunked on Anthony Tolliver when he played on Golden State?
No, we don't gamble enough to remember. Monday
That's
and
the
shit
problem,
like that.
bro. You have like this like Rain Man remembering shit when it
Yeah.
comes to sports. But it was that game, and I remember I was at my buddy's house, and I was doing Snow Angels after it because it was like a January game. It was like after just what a roller coaster of emotions that day was, because it started with English Premier League soccer. I woke up at 9:30 and I took Sunderland for a draw. I took a draw.
You watched?
Oh my God.
No, I was just, I was, yeah. So luckily I don't gamble anymore because, this
Oh,
is.
you fucking bet on a draw and they drew. How crazy is
Wait,
that?
what?
I
That
bet
was
on a-
part of the
you can bet-
parlay?
yeah, when soccer, you could bet on draws.
Oh, soccer. Yeah, it's draws all the time.
Yeah,
Soccer
yeah.
has zeros. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was a football.
I did bet football because it was a Sunday. So I definitely bet football.
You bet intersport or intrasport is what.
Oh, buddy,
Wow.
I had to. I was on.
So you come up 7,200. You're still down 1,800.
Yeah, so then I had that money. I had
And
that
you
money.
paid it all off. You're like, I'm back.
I paid it all off. Yeah. Even my book even texted me. He's like, great parlay, bro. Like, even he was proud of me. He sent me the text like,
Well, now I don't have to hurt you, bro.
now I don't have to.
Do they hurt you? What's the
No,
deal with that?
they don't hurt you.
Well, then how do they?
That's Canada, though.
They
Well,
well, they're the mafia.
yeah.
Well, what they do?
But they're paying
He was
taxes. They
mafia?
got to pay to fix you.
my yeah, exactly.
He was mafia,
Yeah,
and
buddy.
he didn't use the term Vig.
Well, again,
I honestly
little,
just thought there were websites you could bet on, and then I'm just dealing with the fucking
Yeah.
internet.
Well,
They
no,
don't have like
no,
a
this was
my bookie or something like that there.
This was like 2007.
Yeah, they didn't have it then.
2000.
And my bookie, you can't put anything on credit. I imagine it has to be all.
I don't know. I know
debit.
nothing about that.
They probably
Right?
got access to your account straight up.
Yeah, 100%. There's no way they're going to let you gamble on credit.
No, some of these sites, what some of these sites do to hook you is they'll be like, "Hey, we'll match your first $200 or $500."
Yeah.
Yeah, we
So
got
then,
one of
and then
those.
all of a sudden, you basically have a $500 credit, but
Yeah.
they know the house wins. So now you're in.
I've
Yeah,
been
they're
out of the
giving you
game
money.
with
They're
giving you money to start.
DraftKings. I know nothing about these sites. I know nothing about how payment works. I
Yeah.
just know from when I was gambling, we had the online account because I was at one point calling my bookie and he would give me the lines over the phone. But then after this, again, this is like 2004, bro. I was like in high school. The internet came. We'd have the sites, and it was Thursday payday and payout.
Yeah.
Does anyone make money
No,
gambling?
that's what I was just gonna say.
Some-
And you know what? I'm glad you just said that. I
some
really am
people
because
do.
you literally came. Literally, this is what I'm gonna say. It's like you can't win with a vice like that because
Yeah.
here's what you're not. I talked to a guy who wrote a book called Tales of a Bronx Bookie. This guy's like an older man, and this guy went through some shit. And this guy was fucking in it. And he just said, he goes, Paul, he goes, when these guys start doing 2-3 team teases or parlay, he goes, we just put it in a pile of that they're going to be
Yeah.
paying us. Like
100%.
Listen, you could win a game.
What does that mean? Say
So
that, say
basically, what he's saying is the odds to win.
Yeah.
It is like a flip of a coin. If you ever saw that movie with McConaughey and Pacino, where like McConaughey is Pacino's like
Yeah,
young
yeah.
that. Guy
Devil's
coming
Advocate,
up, and then he
I think.
basically
No. This is a gambling
this is a
movie.
gambling movie.
Yeah.
And he basically the end of the movie basically says if you bet on an NFL game with the line, you might as well take a coin and go heads or tails, and that's basically your ultimate chances. You're ultimately going to lose. The problem is a guy like Alex who hits a 6-teamer and gets 7,200, he thinks he's going to be a millionaire. He thinks this is his shit. But it's always coming back to the house. It's always coming
Right.
back. You're not. You
But
really,
there have to be some like professional
there are.
gamblers that
There
have some
100%
sort
are.
of
right. They
competitive
dedicate.
advantage.
It's the greed that gets you, dude. It's the greed, and if you were disciplined and you knew what you were doing, you could make money. It's going to be a long. If you're a
The
handicapper,
way I look at it, and I talked to you, I always thought, oh, stocks are just gambling. No, they're not. Stocks is designed for you to make money. Gambling is designed for casinos to make money. Massive difference.
I honestly, dude,
That's a great way of looking at it.
Yes.
Because you represent, okay, the stock would be as if you're part of the casino. You're
Yes.
investing in
Right.
the casino.
That's right.
So it's in the casino's best
Perfect.
interest
Perfect.
to be a better casino,
that's
make more
exact-
money so you get more money as an investor. With gambling,
sports. We're talking sports
we're
gambling.
talking about sports
Okay.
gambling, right? With sports gambling, the only reason they would give you that line is so that they could make money. Now, my understanding here about gambling is the casino operates, or the bookies operate, within the 20% range of profit. So they take 10% from the winner, right? On either side. So if you bet the over, they're taking 10% of your win. If you bet the under, they're taking 10% of your win.
Absolutely.
So
that's called vig. That's the juice.
No. Juice is paying back. What I'm
is
saying,
interest.
juice is the
Okay.
interest. What I'm saying is, like, for example, you can bet both sides. Let's say Conor McGregor is fighting Floyd Mayweather, and let's say it was a 50-50 fight. I know it's not, but let's just say, right?
I know what you're saying.
Let me
Okay.
just explain to the people listening, right? So, like, let's say you bet Conor, right? You put $100 in Conor, you can win $100.
That's going to be minus 110. You're risking 110 to win 100.
Exactly.
That's
You-
what
that
I call
10
juice. That's what I call vig.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Okay. So that $10, so you basically spend $100 to win 100,
That's how they're making
right?
money. Yes.
But they're going to take 10 of those dollars just for making the bet.
yes.
Sure.
You place the same bet
Like
of
a
Mayweather.
commission.
It's a commission, yeah. You place the same bet of Mayweather. It's $100 to win $100. You still got to spend that $10, so it's $110. Nobody's getting it for free. So the casino's like, we don't care which guy wins.
Right.
We've carved out 20% of the
making
bet,
money.
no matter what.
Well, that's
So-
what a spread is, right?
Exactly. That's why the spread keeps shifting, because they're like, we got to cover our ass. We don't want one side to make more money than the other side. We got to make sure enough people bet evenly on each
Exactly.
side.
You know how ignorant and fucking dumb somebody is to see a 13-point spread and go, bro, this is a lock. Think about that. That's what people do, because they think the points. They think, oh, I got this.
Like they're going to cover the
So,
13?
So when we
Like
went
that's
to
what you're saying?
the casino, it was very eye-opening for me. First of all, I realized this guy's has a real fucking problem.
Can I be honest with you though? I am not because I'm not a handicapper at all. I'm not an expert. But
nobody thinks you're an expert.
No,
on
of
anything.
course not. But
What is a handicapper? Someone who decides the lines for the games?
that would be an odds maker.
Did you ever see Casino?
Yeah.
So the Sam Rothstein character by De Niro was really a guy named Frank Rosenthal,
Was he a juice?
and he was a juice.
He was a
He was
juice.
definitely a juice. Rosenthal.
He was a juice or a vig?
He was,
Really, the only people running the casinos at that time was juices and vigs.
That's right. We're gonna call the Italians the Vigs. Okay, it's good. So he's a juice. Go on.
So there's a guy. So I was on Artie Lang's podcast, and he had that guy of the man of
Sam
the,
Rothstein.
of the win. He had the Sam Rothstein of Vegas Today on.
Oh.
Yeah, he had the guy. Basically, what happens is him and a team
Yeah.
go into a room and they come up with the spread. And it comes and it starts early,
Yeah.
and then as money gets bet, it moves. So the Chiefs are playing the
Exactly,
49ers
yeah.
this week, right?
Yeah.
Super Bowl.
Started at
right after
2.5.
right after the AFC NFC championship games, when these two teams, these fucking guys in Vegas, sat down, and every fucking possibility, from weather to injuries to everything, defense, offense, quarterback talent, defensive backs, the whole deal, coaches, and then they sit down in a room and a number comes up. And then all of a sudden, the win line, when you go to the Win Sportsbook, oh, the Chiefs are -1, which is essentially a pick 'em.
Now, they were minus 2.5 to start.
Now explain to somebody who's listening, kind of like myself, who doesn't really understand the plus minus. -1 would mean
Favorite.
That the Kansas City Chiefs, Vegas is saying that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to win the game by 1 point.
exactly. So the amount of minus would be the amount of points that team has to win by in order to cover the spread.
Right, so the
if
listeners
the Chiefs were just for anybody listening.
So your listeners, if the Kansas City Chiefs are -1, which means they're favored by 1, in order for you to win that bet, you have to bet that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to win by 2 or more.
Right.
Then you win the bet. If you take the 49ers there, then
you can lose if you take the 49ers
The 49ers can lose by
by 1 and then it's a draw.
Then it's a push.
wash.
Yes.
if it's one, then
It's a push.
If it's 1, it's a push. Nobody loses any money.
Let's
If
use
you
seven.
were
Let's
smart-
use 7, for example.
Okay.
Okay, so let's say
Niners Niners can lose
Chiefs
by
are
6.
-7.
Right.
That means the Chiefs have to win by 8 in order for you to win your bet if you pick the Chiefs.
Right.
And that means the 49ers only can lose by 6
6.
and you still win your bet.
Yes.
If you take the Niners
Right.
and they lose by 6, you still win
Then
your bet.
there's 7.5 too. There are half a points, right? So those ones there will be no push.
Right. That's
So
why
then
you
you
do a
could-
half.
but you
point.
could buy a point.
You could buy the half a point.
You could buy the half
You could go
a
up to the
point.
casino and they'll charge you. They're going to hit you.
Oh, you guys are fucking
With
gonna be
like
broke.
like
I mean,
minus,
it's
yeah.
unbelievable how much he's never sounded smarter in his life.
I know, right? I'm an idiot.
Have you ever
like
thought
throwing
about
terms out
dedicating
there.
yourself this much to something like productive?
No.
Something
Never.
No, dude, I thoroughly enjoy sports and line movements. I don't gamble no more, bro. I
Yeah.
legitimately don't gamble no more.
But didn't you guys go to the casino?
Yeah,
went to casino
but
and he-
when
let
you
me
put,
tell you how he
that's-
acted at the
that's
casino.
not
Yeah.
really
First of all-
gambling because the money's already done.
First of all, I have
it's
a video.
when you're chasing.
I didn't want
it.
to put on social media, but I have a video of him walking in. He's so fucking geeked.
You know what's
He's like
hilarious?
galloping to the betting area. Look how hyped
You
he
know what
is.
the best is? Because we watched the Packers Seahawks, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
4.5.
Yeah.
I was suspicious. I wanted to take the Packers right at 4, and as soon as I got to the window, it went up by half a point. I was like, giving me money line. I was jacked up. I was betting like that the whole game.
What
I go,
fucking terms
come
he's
on.
throwing out there? None of them.
Yeah,
know.
sorry.
So this guy loses a bet on a 6-game parlay immediately, like 10 seconds in.
Immediately.
Makes 2 more bets. One of them is a 4-game parlay, which again, you have to win all 4 bets to cover all 4 spreads to win the 1 bet. So the odds are very good. He wins.
Packers money line, New Jersey Devils plus 190. I took
No
the
one cares.
Denver Nuggets
Yeah, I don't
minus
care. I don't
Truly,
plus
no
1.
one. You keep saying stuff no one cares about.
yeah. Go on.
You're not
Keep
talking to
going,
degenerates.
Akaash, go.
He wins the fucking 4-game parlay.
Nailed it.
Unreal odds. He wins $750.
Yeah.
756.
How much you dump right back in?
Nothing.
So I say to him, "Hey man, can I have $200?" He's a little drunk. He's a little happy. He gives me $200, thinking I'm gonna go gamble it away.
Very
And
drunk,
I-
very
and I-
happy.
And I say to him, and Pavone's a gentle guy. I say to him, "I'm gonna keep this till tomorrow. So you play with whatever you want to play with, because I know how you gamble. Now you have made $200 no matter what." He goes, "Are you fucking serious? You're not. I thought you were gonna gamble that money. Are you fucking?" Then he goes, "I'll beat the shit out of you right now if you give me that $200. I swear to God, buddy, I'll fucking snap." That's when I was like, "Yo, this dude got a problem." He blows 600 at tables, then hits a fucking another roulette. This is the luckiest day of his life. 1 to 36 to 1 odds on roulette, where you bet on the one number.
Yeah.
You know, the roulette with the wheel. He bets a specific
I know
number.
what roulette is.
16 red. Give it to me, baby.
It lands on that fucking number, and he wins all his money back.
No, and then I won another one.
And then
7
he-
red.
Dude, 2 of them. And then he wants to keep gambling again, and that God saves him from himself. He loses a bet, and he's drunk, and he goes, suck my asshole. And the pit boss is standing right there, and he goes, "Buddy, watch your language." And then Pavone goes, "You're right, sorry, fuck me." And then the pit boss goes, "You know what, you're done," and throws him out, and that's the only reason he keeps his
Best
money.
decision of my life was
cursing
saying
a
fuck me in
second
the
time.
ass.
And then, boy, he was saying some stuff about that pit boss on his way out that I'm not going to repeat here.
Yeah, don't
but
repeat it.
No, some maggots
But-
were flying.
Yeah. There was. Thank God I had 4 friends to carry me out of the casino by each limb. I was carted off.
So who do we think's winning the Super Bowl?
It's done.
Niners.
I mean, you want to know who's going to win?
Yeah.
I mean, I knew yesterday.
Uncut Vigs over here.
Wait, what?
I knew, yes.
What
I knew
happened?
yesterday. No,
Yeah.
I honestly, I don't see the Niners losing the game because of the defensive line is, even with how great Mahomes is, the defensive line and this kid Bosa just putting so much pressure on the quarterback. And if you saw what happened to, even the Packers, and they can control the ball and clock by running it with those 3 backs. And Richard Sherman has that side of the field locked the fuck down. You can't throw to that side. So I think Mahomes, although he will make plays because he's that talented with his legs and his incredible arm, he's going to make a limited amount of monster plays because he's going to be running for his life.
I agree with everything you said.
So that's why I got the Niners.
I've doubted the Niners all year. And then,
everybody has.
And because I don't believe in Jimmy G, but when I watched this defense, and I noticed it the last 4 or 5 weeks, and I haven't watched a ton, but I've never seen a defense miss this few tackles. Normally
Yes,
a running
they're
back takes a
very
handoff.
disciplined.
That's a great point. They don't fuck up. And here's the
They're
thing. And not to cut you off.
disciplined.
Every fucking game the 49ers lost this year, which was a few, it was down to the last play. They're in every game.
This is true.
They're well coached. They got a running game.
And what blows my mind when you watch a running back, he always, when he carries the line, he gets to the line of scrimmage, and then he breaks a tackle or 2, and he'll gain 3 or 4 yards. That's how it goes. In the Niners, the running back goes to the line and he doesn't break a tackle or two. He just gets dragged down. Whoever the fuck gets a hand on them, they're dragging you down.
That
the one
defense-
thing, though, I will say this. They barely beat the Saints. Saints have a great passing offense, great quarterback. Chiefs have a great passing offense, great quarterback. So that's
This was the
where
regular season, though.
So I do think the Chiefs, I am picking the Chiefs because of that reason, but I also hate on the Niners because I'm a Cowboy fan and they,
yeah.
When was the last time an offensive powerhouse won a Super Bowl?
almost
It changes
99
in the
Rams
playoffs.
maybe?
It's
That's
funny.
the last one I think
And
about.
here's the thing. It's funny you say that because it is a different season in the playoffs, and those offensive teams.
You know what? You make a good point, though, because
Wait, real quick. Finish what you were saying.
What I'm saying is, in the playoffs, when defenses tighten up. Now this is a Super Bowl. You got a front four. Listen, I'm a Giants fan, and you know what? How did they beat the undefeated Patriots in 07? It's because Osi Umenyiora, Justin Tuck, Michael Strahan were like.
Russian three guys leave everybody in the box.
Was it
4-3?
4-3 defense?
Yeah,
So,
whatever.
so, like I said, Mahomes is talented enough where he's going to make plays to Tyreek Hill.
And
They're gonna make good plays. But with Bosa and those guys all night running, I think, and Sherman, that's the other thing, dude. Sherman's a monster.
I want to get into the Sherman discussion in a second.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's similar to basketball, and obviously I know more about basketball, so something I can think about, at least put things in perspective. The intensity of a playoff game changes the way each player on the field or on the court plays, right? And that's why you see a guy like James Harden completely dominate during the regular season, but against playoff level intensity,
Yes.
all of a sudden he's at least a little bit more normal looking. Because you're fighting for every single fucking play.
Offense,
I'll take
every
it as far as to
step
say
you're fighting
I'll
for,
take it
man.
as far as to say he's not normal looking. I think James Harden turns into he stinks.
Okay, so he stinks, and there's two
they
reasons.
get very physical.
Two
Dude, you
reasons,
can't go
though.
0 for 20
Playoffs.
from the 3-point line in a game 7.
But here's the
know.
thing:
Agree.
two reasons, right? You have not only do you have the defense being stepped up. When the defense is stepped up, you need to exert more energy.
Yeah.
When you need to exert more energy, your legs are
your legs
done in the
go.
fourth.
Yeah.
And what do you rely on for that 3-point shot? You rely on those legs.
Also, to your point, and I'm going to bring up a counterpoint after, but to your point, offense is much more inconsistent. You don't often hear about a defense being on fire.
Right.
If they're creating a bunch of turnovers week over week, maybe, but offense, they're on fire right now.
Defense
I love
is
how you preface
effort.
that. Here's a point, and then I'm going to counterpoint.
Now,
You said
what I
before
will
you
say,
said
because
it.
I don't know, because this is going to be a good fucking Super Bowl, I think. The other counterpoint
I
is
think so,
how
too.
many teams without good quarterbacks win Super Bowls? And Jimmy Garoppolo has good games. He might play out of his fucking mind on Sunday. But if you're throwing 8 passes in the championship game, your coach probably don't really trust you.
Let's go that. Teams without great quarterbacks.
Trent
that have won-
Dilfer.
Trent Dilfer's the one that I
Dilfer's
think
the one
of.
you think of. I mean,
Yeah, but there's
Brad
quarterbacks.
Johnson,
but there's
when he was
quarterbacks
on-
that play great in big moments. Like Eli Manning, to me, is he's a.
Is Jimmy Garoppolo that? That's the question.
But the thing, you're going to find out a lot about Jimmy G because he's not going to throw 8 times in a Super Bowl. He's going to throw more, and he has to throw more.
He played great against the Saints. That was a huge game.
But I think people are underestimating him, man. And I think him playing under Belichick and Brady, I think he's going to have a decent game.
Well, Brad Johnson, to go back to your point, but they had a great defense with the Bucs 2003. Remember? Can I just say one thing about the Super Bowl? Is it definitely benefits the defenses because of the 2-week layover. So that 2 weeks to study
That's
that
a great
offense
fucking point.
makes
go on that.
because
That's a
it's
great point.
because you have 2 weeks now to deal and watch that offense, the film and everything.
So
the defense definitely has the upper hand when it comes to the Super Bowl.
Because
Everybody's
the
rested.
offense doesn't have the advantage on the defense in the same way.
No, because everybody's healed.
That too, but also
extra
the
week
film.
study
He's saying
offensive
simple X and
tendencies.
O's, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So he's like the defense. Listen, there's only so many plays that a team can have, right? You can't write an entirely new playbook for the Super Bowl. I'm sure they'll throw a couple things in there, but you're not going to rewrite it. So
Right.
the defense is going, look, we have 2 weeks to go over every single formation they have. We have 2 weeks to go over every single, when Tyreek Hill is over here, then they often run this, that, there. You can predict more or less what plays they're going to do. You have 2 weeks to prepare, unlike most teams have a few days. You play on
you got-
Sunday, you rest
you got a
on
week.
Monday, then you have Tuesday, Thursday,
That's
Friday.
right.
Exactly.
You got a week. That's
So
2
you have
weeks
double
now.
time. But some might say that the offense has just as much time to understand the defensive schemes that the 49ers have been playing this whole year. They can learn how they get Bosa a little
up
bit.
with trick plays. I do agree with Pavone more.
But here's the thing. Like you said earlier, defense at the end of the day is about effort, not necessarily tricking you. So you can't really scheme for effort. If Bosa is a fucking beast that runs over you, what are you gonna do? You can't design a play to not beast him.
Let me ask you this question.
whole
Throughout
defense
history of
is-
the NFL, and I've watched it, I've probably watched it like really understanding it since I'm 12 years old, right? How many great defenses have entered this game, the big one, Super Bowl, and lost? Think about that.
That's what you said earlier.
How many
You're like,
great
The
defenses?
07 Colts, the 07 Bears that lost to the Colts, 06, 07, whatever
Yes.
it was.
And the
Yes.
game, they lost by 4 points. It was what, 12-8?
Oh, I remember. Yeah,
It was
it was
12-8.
a pretty ugly game.
Peyton
Probably.
barely put any points on the board. I think, who was it, Rex
And
Chapman
it
or
was also,
something?
it was
Grossman.
Rex Grossman, and
He's-
it was also one of the worst Super Bowls because it was pouring rain.
Yep.
It was just the game. It wasn't. Nobody could get off the way they
Devin
wanted
Hester returned like the opening kickoff and for
Yeah.
a touchdown, and then nothing happened after that. I would say maybe the Packers beating the Steelers, who are
And there's one other thing we didn't mention on this, and it's the experience of some guys like a Richard Sherman, right? I don't mean to keep bringing him up because I'm not the biggest Richard Sherman guy, but he's been to 3 of them, and he knows how to lock down, and he also knows how to go and prepare in that
So
game.
for every point I think of in favor of one team, I can think of a point that's for the other team. And we talk about like the intensity is different and whatever. I thought about this. Patrick Mahomes in his last 2 games in the playoffs was down 24-0 in a fucking meltdown against the Texans.
that was crazy.
Came back in 1 quarter and took the lead 28-27, 28-24.
Yeah, it's
like
great.
unfucking real.
And then
that's
down 10-0,
pressure,
and
and
then-
he just didn't give a fuck.
and then
the
down
Tennessee
10-0.
Titans,
Yeah.
who beat the Patriots, then beat the Ravens, are up on you 17-7, and then you score then you outscore them like 30-7, and then you win the game in convincing fashion.
Patrick Mahomes.
He might be okay in this intensity. He's been in not Super Bowl intensity, but he's been in we're down 24-0 after a bye week intensity.
Supremely confident. He is laughing out there. He is having a good time. It is
He always believes.
incredibly impressive for such a young kid in these high stakes games to have this type of comfort. I
to
think
be
it's
down
really
24, to be down 24-0 and come back and win like that. If he's down in the Super Bowl to the Niners 10-0, he's looking at his guys going, "We've been here." So I definitely that's a good. And listen, I'd love to see Andy Reid. I'd love to see
Same.
Andy Reid.
me too.
and Mahomes
There's
go.
no
So
lock
I
though.
would.
There's definitely no lock.
There's
in
no
this.
lock. There's a couple things at play here, though, legacy wise. If Richard Sherman gets another one, there's no way to discredit him as, he's a scheme. He just plays zone or cover 2, whatever. He's protected in the zone, blah, blah, blah. He doesn't really have to play corner. All the criticisms you make about him.
Yeah.
If he comes back from an Achilles injury, dominates, and wins another Super Bowl, you gotta. I think as far as legacy goes, you have to put him up there with.
I
the
thought
great
he was
corners.
done.
He's
man.
a first ballot Hall of Famer.
I also think
now.
I think
man.
that's all bullshit too.
But-
like the way they say that about him. It's
But
like,
why do they say? I don't know enough about playing corner to.
They say it because they're basically saying he's doing a cover where like the
There's two things
He's
that the
protected.
wide
The
receiver
safety
can
is
do.
kind of
Exactly.
the safety is kind of cheating off to his side, so you could look like it's a double team. But like he's still good at that.
He's,
do you know what I mean? He's still good at like in that scheme, being one of the best in that scheme. So I think
you
that's
could
kind of a
nitpick anybody. You could nitpick anybody's
What would you
faults
say about
and
Darrell
schemes.
Revis if you were going to nitpick
I mean,
during his heyday?
Me personally, I don't know. I don't know, but I mean, he was one of the best cover corners,
Right?
But,
Like, what would you say about a Charles Woodson? Like, there's certain guys. What would you say about Dion? There's certain guys that.
Champ Bailey,
What would you say about
Bailey.
Champ?
nothing.
That's the thing. So there's certain corners, right, that you
Yeah.
can't say anything. And Richard Sherman, and to be fair to Richard, maybe he's never played single coverage because the defensive chose not to. Maybe if he did, he would be just as effective. There's a chance.
He's not as fast as those guys. He's not as fast as Revis, Champ.
So that's the thing with
Woodson.
him.
That's what
and
they
that's
say.
been,
You know
that's
what it
been
might
said
be
about
like?
him.
and what are
He's
the
not as gifted athletically, but
So if
they
he didn't
said
have
he's
the help-
super smart. But they said he's super smart. He understands schemes. He understands how to read a quarterback. He understands the route of the. He's a very like
Cerebral player.
He sees the
And
game.
he's physical, right?
It's almost like
He's
an
big
NBA.
boy, yeah.
It's almost like an NBA player who might not be as gifted, but the basketball IQ
Is crazy.
Is crazy.
You know what it might be like in terms of why corners look at him like that?
Yeah.
Tying it to comedy because that's what we know.
Yeah.
Kevin Hart, I love him. Biggest comic in the world. a lot of comics don't fuck with him as much because they say, oh, the material isn't challenging. This is easy to do. He relies on this and this and this and this. It's all like, it's essentially a system of how Kevin Hart is funny.
That's a
so
great...
I discredit his funny a little bit.
Right, like, oh, that comedian's funny.
That's a good point.
But take away his act outs. That comedian's hilarious, but he overacts it out. What if you take away the act out and you actually just go based on the material? Is it a funny joke? That would be a nitpicky, like when these other corners tweet at him going, yeah, man, I fucking ran a one-on-one. Like, he can't do that.
And some of them have a point because they are that great. Patrice, I understand, would do that with comics, and Patrice is right. Patrice doesn't do that, so he can call you out. A lot of you are just salty. That's how I feel about Richard Sherman.
Yeah.
And what they're also doing is they're also discrediting the talent Kevin Hart has by drawing people in. They're discounting what he can do that they can't.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why. Like, Darrell Revis was talking some shit on him, and you see all these corners talk shit about him. I don't really understand why. Maybe if he wasn't so outspoken, maybe if he wasn't so brash.
And he gets a lot of credit, which I think always drives people crazy.
So when people
for
get
sure.
credit
They're
that
jealous.
shouldn't.
I think because he's outspoken, and I think because he's a smart, outspoken guy, he talks a little more to the press than other guys. It probably annoys a guy sitting on his couch who didn't get that attention.
I understand if a fan gets annoyed, but a player, it's just so odd. Like, I can understand if you
Jealousy. Come on.
Darrell Revis got a ring.
We all want credit, though.
Yeah,
he's
got
as
a
credited
ring.
as one of the greatest greatest cornerbacks in history.
When
It's
you
like,
get a ring on the Patriots,
it don't
though,
count
you
as
know.
much?
No, it definitely counts. It definitely counts. But
He didn't get one as Revis Island. He got one as a bit player. But I also think
fair.
it's just he's not getting credit anymore.
Exactly.
And there's nothing
little
worse
bit
than
tight.
not being
Exactly.
famous anymore.
Yeah, you're forgotten.
And so how bitter can that make you?
Richard Sherman, every team he's played on, which is he's only been on 2 teams, but those defenses have always been stellar, and you can't take that away from him. You know,
How rare is it in this life for somebody to be genuinely happy for a motherfucker?
Hard.
Right?
Yeah.
Somebody that genuinely, like, there's few people that are like, hey man, I saw, congratulations. Like, there's the other thing, like, what about mine? I got to get mine.
Yeah.
You know, listen, I was guilty coming up as a young comic. I
We all-
remember
we all
watching
have to
somebody
fight
on
it.
TV,
Yeah.
and I called my manager while I was watching the set on TV.
Yeah.
And what the fuck? And I'm going, and now I realize, and as I got older, and not in a bad way, but just,
can't
hey, I'd
believe
like
you
that
would do
opportunity.
that
And all of a
shit to
sudden,
Joe Rogan.
I realized, what'd you say?
I can't just believe you would watch Joe on TV and then just trash his half. It's just
No,
like,
dude.
that's your friend.
You want to sit here and
bro.
try to figure out who the comic was for 5 minutes?
But no, then you realize, no,
Who
let
are
me
you,
put fucking
who are you
blind.
hating on? Who are you hating on that was on TV?
No, this
no,
is,
that's family business.
oh,
We
yeah,
don't talk
no,
about
no,
that.
no. I just remember, and I wasn't even hating. I just called my manager going, hey, can we get that? Because
Yeah.
I think I could fuck with that guy. Maybe,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
listen, maybe at the time I couldn't. But in my mind, I knew what. But then I realized as you get older, it's like, no, you put blinders on and you run your race. You
Yes.
know, you run your fucking race, and that's it.
There's I was talking to one of the guys that runs JFL at the stand the other night, and I go, "What are you guys looking for? Like, what do you look for in the new faces?" And I don't mean this as a critique.
Oh, Nick was there, yeah.
Yeah, Nick, yeah. And I don't mean this as a critique. I'm just curious because I want to be able to tell my friend who is undeniably funny why he didn't get it as a friend.
That's a great thing. That's fucking
And,
great.
or just as a comic that like these young kids might look up to. They don't get it. They really find like they define themselves by it. And I'm just like, just tell me what you guys look for, because I think if that was known, then they would personalize it less. And less words than more. He basically was like, I mean, he didn't say this, but this is what I got from it. Their job is to service the industry that comes there. It's not to service the greater good of comedy. So if the industry is looking for, and I'm sure they're tastemakers as well, but if the industry is looking for diversity or women, or the industry is looking for really dark jokes or really clean jokes, whatever it is that year, they try to take a mixture, is what we were saying. But the job, the job is satisfying those people that are spending thousands of dollars on the industry passes so that they can come there. That's the job of New Faces. For anybody listening, New Faces is this thing where they take young comics who aren't known to the industry yet, and they give them an opportunity.
And it can change their life.
It used to be, not now.
It still does a bit. I mean, wasn't Shane in New Faces last year?
It changed his life.
Well, yeah, I mean,
for sure.
of course.
I gotta give credit to Shane. I told him this. He was at the Patrice benefit.
Yeah.
I always thought that there was this really hacky line of humor where you say L's as R's, And then I started doing it because of Shane.
Yeah.
You do those?
It's so fun. Alex is pretending that our text thread, we did
Yeah.
the entire weekend
Yeah.
in AC to the point that the name of our text thread is @Rannick City. That's all we did. It is all we did. And it was so goddamn fun. And I told Shane when I saw him from the bottom of my heart, thank you for introducing that line of humor to me, because I would have never explored it if you didn't lose a job.
You let him know about it.
Oh, I took a picture and sent it to you guys. You don't think I told him why? You think I just asked for a random picture? That's weirder, to be honest.
This is never this job, and I learned this a long time ago. It's you have to get so undeniable to get rid of that, rid of that, and the way I got JFL, because Bert told me. But this is a good story. Years ago, Bert told me I didn't get JFL 1 year. My first audition was amazing, and everyone's like, "You're gonna get it." And then the callback, the last one, I had an okay set. I had a good set, and it was at that fucking. It was at a weird spot too. And then it was like, nah. And I said to Bert, I'm like, I didn't fucking get this. You know what I mean? I was like, I didn't get this. And he goes, a guy like you.
Go on.
He goes, a guy like you, okay?
Yeah.
Somebody like you. And this is when they were looking for fucking alternative, bearded, fucking self-hating, Incredible Hulk t-shirt wearing motherfuckers like bad. You know what I mean? This was when it was
2020?
This was like no, 2020, man. I'm talking. This was some shit. And he goes, you have to get so fucking undeniable to fucking get there, right?
Yeah.
And do it. And then I remember a year later, I had this amazing set, and me and my old manager, David Kimowitz, rest his soul, can't believe I have to say that. We went out to eat and we're talking and we're having a good time. He's like, you're definitely going to get that. And I'm like, yeah. And I could feel I'm going to get it. And I was like, there's no way I can't get it. If I don't get it, it's not me. Right? And I felt that I got it. I felt that I fucking got it. And all of a sudden I start seeing people on the roster get picked. So I saw that like Derek Gaines had got picked and Pete Davidson had got picked. And I'm going, and they're going, and they're waiting on me. And I'm like, and I start feeling the snub is coming. The snub is coming. And now I'm fucking starting to get bitter. I start making this shit in my mind. I'm like, fuck that guy. I didn't even know yet, but I just started.
That was
going.
my year.
And was that your year?
Yeah.
Was that your year?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you weren't on the same roster. You weren't with the guys that I was. You weren't on the same roster. I knew because somebody goes, "Hey, they only took 2 out of the 3
From your show.
from my not only from my show but from who was managing me at the time."
What's funny is he told us exactly who he just shitted on. If you backtrack 45 seconds, Derek, this is the year that like Derek Gaines got in, and one other person got in, and then I only named 2, and there was 2 out of 3 people on my show that got in.
The reason why I said that was because we all had the same manager, and my manager's going 2 out of the 3 got it, and I knew that Derek and Pete were on it. So now my managers called me upstairs, and Chris and Dave sit me down, and they go, listen, Paul, and I knew right then before I said anything, and he goes, Robbie Praw said that they took 4 extra days to decide on you, and he said it was like the best no you could ever get. He said, Robbie Praw said he just wants you to know that you will be at JFL, and they have the Toronto maybe next year, all this stuff this year, they this and that, and they're giving me all these reasons why I'm not going this year, but he loved you, and he actually said it's the hardest phone call, blah, 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 so I'm just going, I just leave and I go, so then what can I do? Because I did everything that I could do in these auditions. So am I just never going to go? Maybe I'm just never going to go. And I had this whole fucking thing. And then like a month later.
You shaved your head, turned
later,
into a fucking white supremacist.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
fuck these juice and fucking Vig. The Vig and the juice.
And the best thing that happened though, the best.
Just blew up a smoothie shop.
Just fucking
like,
lost
I've had
my
enough of this.
I just fucking lost my shit. I just do random acts of violence in
If you
Montreal.
see a fruit stand, you're like, fuck.
Curb stomped a feminist.
Yo, is that why you wear Jordans so people know you're not a white supremacist? I feel like if you're white with a bald head, you gotta rock J's so people are like, oh, he doesn't hate black people.
That's fucking hilarious.
Can I ask you? All right, finish the story.
No.
And then we got to talk about your head.
And then that's hilarious.
Because you have
What
this.
wine makes me not look like I hate Jews? Oh, this is the one.
So
What wine makes me look like a... Do you have any Manischewitz by any chance?
that's fucking hilarious. No, so then, but a month later, and it went from Manischewitz. A month later,
Manischewitz, that's hilarious. Who the fuck would drink Manischewitz? They don't have Chianti or a Merlot. I'm not drinking.
I'm a
like
cab
the
guy. I'm a
hands.
cab
You're
guy.
a cab guy?
I'm a cab guy. Yeah. I'm a cab guy.
I like the
I
wine
say about
hands.
myself. I like a little action, and I'm a cab.
I like a little action in a cab. You give me a nice cab, you know? Give me a 15 fucking Napa Valley. You give me a 15 Napa.
Never should have given these Vigs money. Yo, Viggers.
I love.
Jesus Christ!
Whoa. What? It's a hard D. Yo, I made my white friend. Shouts to what comic is it? I can't remember. A comic from Philly named Kevin. What's Kevin's last name? Anyway, he said something about this one guy. He's like, every time he zigs, I zag. I was like, oh, these fucking ziggers, dude. You gotta and we're at a diner. I'm like, these fucking ziggers, man. And he's getting so supremely uncomfortable.
That's hilarious.
And I'm just relishing it. Anyway,
we were in
Viggers.
so anyway.
There's a story that we're not going to let you finish.
Yeah, no.
50
It's the
Napa
most heartfelt
Valley.
story.
It's just like
Inspiring story.
No, it's not even that. I was just
All right, go on.
it was what Andrew was saying, where it was just
Right.
like, what are you looking for? And how
you
can
started
tell somebody
following around
no?
black people
How
in the
could you-
neighborhood. And said, what was it? You were doing
started
neighborhood
following-
watch.
Yeah, I was doing acts of violence. I was doing acts.
I got to protect this neighbor in Westchester. I'm going to put some fucking cab in a thermos. I'm going to walk around and make sure
starting a
everybody's
fucking
safe.
neighborhood watch.
Just New York.
I'm starting a neighborhood watch.
Does New York have a stand your
But
ground
don't worry,
law?
we're still gonna have a card game and wine night. We're gonna have fucking wine night.
I gotta get in my steps, babe. I gotta get in my steps. So I'm gonna walk around this neighborhood. All right, you got me this
Listen,
fucking Fitbit.
It's gonna be half.
I'm gonna chase Puerto Ricans out of Westchester. That's what I'm doing. I don't care what Marisa has to say
like
about it.
it.
You're not coming up here.
And then we're doing a wine tasting. I got cabs all over the joint. So, anyway, so then a month later, I got a call saying that it was embarrassing for the festival to not have me after the auditions that I had, and they put me in, and that was the first time I ever felt justice in comedy in my career.
So wait, you did get it.
I got
My year?
A month later, your year, but what? Yeah, your year. No, I don't know what year you were. Actually, you might have been.
That's
the year,
why he's able to be cool with you now.
Derek and Pete were my year.
You 13.
Derek and Pete were my
Whatever.
year.
If that was that was like 7 years ago. Whatever. If it was 13, but I went there and I was just all over the festival. They put me on all these shows, everything like that.
Yeah.
And but they were just like, you know what, man? It was the first time I actually like went home and I was like, wow, man. They did the right thing. They did the right thing. They did the right thing because he actually said, it would have been embarrassing for us to not have you for the festival because the auditions that you had. And I was just like, fuck, man. That's the first time there was any.
I think that's where I met you, right? You were in the back
yes.
and you were like, yo,
Yeah.
you guys got Storage Wars up here? I'm like, yeah, we got Storage
Or
Wars.
Pawn Stars.
Pawn Stars.
What were you taking bets on how much the fucking gold watch would go for?
That's what he was saying, Pawn Stars. Like, oh, yeah, we got Pawn
That's
Stars.
fucking hilarious. No, we were in a.
Did you know somebody on there trying to pay off a debt?
We were in a soul food restaurant in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Soul food. And
Were you? Were you planning something?
Bert was like,
Yo,
Where can I burn this cross?
I got
Pay
the
the bill.
full
Pay the
resale
bill.
list.
I'm sorry. Pay the bill. I meant pay the bill.
oh shit.
I'm not exactly getting the Southern experience I wanted when we decided to come down here. What in the fuck is going
I
on?
love the Virzi wine hands.
Burgos, let's go to this soul food place. I went here. It's incredible. They got all this shit. So it was
And
me,
after you went,
Bart,
ugh.
no, it was me. It was,
After you
I know, I love that shit.
So you made sure his wife wasn't going to be there, and then
I did say some shit though. Wait.
let's go.
I said some shit.
Paolo Virzi.
That's it. That's it in Sicily. That's perfect.
Come on, bro. I know what time it is.
So we're eating, and me, Joe Bartnick, Bert, and then our friend Joe Gonzalez was the only non,
Yes.
right? So we're sitting there, and I'm sitting. We're just
The only
talking,
non-what?
like white
guy.
dude
Yeah.
at our table.
I thought you
And
said
the place
normal.
Is, and the place is
but anyway,
fucking.
go
The
on.
place is busy, and fucking. It's just fucking mac and cheese and fried chicken coming out, right? Just everybody's fucking. It's fucking. You know, you want a sweet tea, all this shit, right? And I'm sitting there.
What's wrong with these people?
And then yeah, there was no fucking cab to be seen. Okay, anywhere. Okay, there was no fucking cheese. There was no fucking wine.
Lady brought me an Old English in a paper bag.
I mean, there was no olive oil in the States. Okay? I mean, there's no fucking. I mean, you couldn't dip bread in fucking olive oil. Yeah, there was no breadsticks. There was no fucking marinara sauce. You got to fucking drive hours. So I'm dealing with this fucking shit, right? And so we're sitting there, and Joe Bartnick, I never made him do a spit. I'm sitting there, and I just look, and I go, you know something? I go, and we're just talking about like the industry, and we're talking about what's going on in show business, and I just out of nowhere, I just go, yeah, and Bert's sitting right next to me and shit, and I just go, yeah, and I'm tired of these people apologizing for being white, and right when I said that, I look around, and it's literally black table after black table, and I go, maybe not the best place to say that. The fucking table fell out. I mean, it was just fucking. It was literally all black. It was like a movie scene.
The tables around you fell out?
No. Like the whole fucking place was tables of black people.
Did anybody see here? Like,
we were just talking about how like if you're a straight white, we're just and I go and like we were talking about how some celebrities are like apologizing. So I just go and I'm tired of people apologizing for being white. And all of a sudden I just go. Maybe not the best place to say that. And everybody fucking fell. He spit his fucking thing, and Bert just fucking like was biting a biscuit, shaking his head.
Biting a biscuit.
What are you gonna do? You know?
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna? You know what I mean? Like that was when the industry was changing, and something needs to be said.
That was a
at
place.
a soul food restaurant.
Yeah, the worst place ever.
Without a juice in sight to hear anything.
Can a guy get a fucking wine in
They
here?
didn't even serve juice. That's how little Jewish people are coming. We got tea and we got fucking soda, whatever you want. But ain't no juice here.
No olive oil in the state. That's
great.
amazing.
There's no olive oil in the state of North Carolina.
So now, after doing Charlotte, did you go straight to Charlottesville, or did you wait?
Yeah. Is that when you ran over that woman? So right from the soul food restaurant, you guys picked up those torches, right? You went down to Walmart.
The tiki torches, yeah. Headed down to the local Walmart. Kmart, my bad.
Oh,
Kmart.
fuck.
Kmart is funny.
Yeah, Kmart.
Kmart.
My apologies, Kmart.
Oh, fuck, dude. Too good.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Too good. Too good. Do you have any stories of your racism, Pavone? We're just exposing your Italian people.
Yeah, we don't have the time in the day.
Yo, as an Italian,
Dude, my dad is fucking over the top racist Italian.
Oh, go.
My father
Put the
you know
phone
what it
down
is?
now, and here we
No,
go.
I'm talking about it in the new hour. Like my father grew up in the Bronx in the 1960s.
Right.
He's a good dude. He's just old school Italian, but he's got that.
That's when you know the story's gonna be good.
When you start with the good dude, bad things will follow.
It's not malicious racism. It's how you grew up.
Yeah, it's how you grew up. Right.
It's the bubble
They
of
didn't
not
mean
traveling.
to be Nazis. It was just the culture.
He just grew up. They drank from different fountains. That's his time.
Go on.
No, he was like my father's hilarious though. He still can't believe Obama was president. He talks about that shit like it was Katrina. He talks about that shit like it was a natural. Yo, my father, he said, you know what he said to me?
Is that what he thinks Michelle's name is?
My father, my father goes, listen, Paul, you know something? I miss my father, your grandfather, but you know what? I'm glad he didn't live to see that.
Whoa,
I'm glad he didn't fucking, because that would have killed him. No, but it's just old school.
It's not malicious. There's no anger.
But then I've seen my father interact with all races, and it's all love. You know, I mean, he doesn't want to live near him, but. No, but it's one of those things where I'll talk to.
Would he have eaten at that soul food restaurant?
Yes.
Yeah.
Would he have tipped properly?
Like I said, he just wouldn't want to live in.
You think white people overtip? Italians.
But is he tipping there? That's my question.
Yeah, you guys throw money around with the tips. It's fucking handshakes to everybody.
I'm a big
20%.
Yeah,
It's gotta
I
be
tried-
20%.
I tried giving. I was with Giannis. I tried giving cash to a kid who helped me in CVS. Giannis told me you can't do it.
I mean, you can. You 100% can
I
do
go.
it.
The guy was like overly helping me with scissors, where scissors were.
Yeah.
And it was Christmas. It was Christmas. You know, Italians I get crazy for Christmas. I want to give everybody extra fucking lettuce, and you know, and this fucking kid went out of his way. This fucking kid goes out of his way to fucking get me scissors, and he was like overly nice. He's like, as a matter of fact, if you go in that aisle, so I fucking started peeling off some bills, and Giannis goes, "What the fuck are you doing?" I'm like, "I want to give the kid a tip." He goes, "You don't give a cash tip for a guy doing it." He made me feel like an asshole, so I didn't.
Did you give it to him?
No, Giannis.
Oh,
was
good. I'm
"No."
glad, man, because you guys fuck it up for people who don't want to.
You really fuck it up.
Yeah,
for
you don't want to
everybody
do that. That's too much.
Italians
That's
are like,
crazy.
It's
you-
Christmas
yeah.
though. It's Christmas.
I
If it
know,
wasn't-
but
it
it's-
was a festive time.
Stop acting like Italians don't overtip though.
We overtip.
You
we
over
overtip.
fucking tip. Everybody
overtip.
gets a little bit of grease, and then now you can't get a fucking taxi without tipping the guy who just opens the door for the taxi at the hotel. Italians ruin that.
I would
There
agree
used to
with
be a guy
that.
at the hotel, and his job was to open the door so you get in a taxi. And you didn't have to give him nothing. And then you guys are so guilty. You're so Catholic and guilty
Yeah.
that when anybody does anything nice for you, you're like, I gotta give him some money or something.
Yeah.
I gotta tip you for opening a car
Son.
door, bruh.
Do you not?
I overtip.
Yeah.
So you do.
It's the
tip
same,
that
like,
guy.
and that's why blacks and Italians are so similar, because blacks would do that at the strip club. It's make it right. Just Italians do that with the service industry. They don't do it.
Yeah,
at the
not at the
strip
strip
club.
club.
That's
No,
very,
no, no, no.
that's very true.
You're like black people at a strip club in the service industry. You're making it rain. Busboy gets a little something.
Yes.
Right? Bring you water.
Italians. That's
Is
very
that a
true.
flex for you guys?
Italians, if the restaurant.
No, because they use it later. Like they'll give a guy $2 and then he'll go to CVS after it's closed and he'll look at the guy like, hey, I gave you $2. Can you
remember
open
me?
the
I was
fucking
just-
corporate branch of CVS so I can get some Listerine strips?
I was the scissors guy.
But you will do that. You're like, eh.
No, but you're right. You hit it right on the head when you said like Italians in restaurant and dining experience is big.
Big.
A dining experience. If you make my dining experience, they fucking yes. You
So
know.
you're peeling it off.
Oh, dude, if
It's 20% tip to the waiter, but the host might get a little something for the right table.
yes, or I go always above 20%. I never tip 20% unless the service is bad.
Yeah, go.
My dad.
for bad. I'm sitting
You're back down.
20% for bad service?
No.
No, that's mental.
No,
That's mental.
20%. It's got to be bad service for me to go under 20. If its service is bad, average bad, like just
What
like
do you get?
that wasn't good,
15?
I'll go 20. If the service is overly bad, definitely under.
Like what?
But-
15?
Yeah,
You're not going lower than
I can't go
15.
lower than 15.
Yeah.
I just can't
Your
bring myself to
anxiety
go lower
kicks
than
in.
I can't handle it. Yeah.
What
Yeah,
if
yeah,
somebody
yeah.
completely disrespected you? What if somebody
No.
they disrespect you? They disrespect your beautiful wife. What'd you call her?
Under 15.
The smoke show.
A smoke show.
Your smoke
My
show
smoke
of a wife.
I would go under 15.
Oh no, he would just have him killed by a couple of his big cousins. It'd be over.
I would go under 15.
You would go if okay. Let me just. Get
I know,
this
but
straight.
actually, if he disrespected my wife, I actually go higher. I go above. I go over his head. I complain to an owner.
But you'd still
You
tip.
take it to upper management.
Hold on. You'd still tip.
Bad though. Like
Someone disrespects your wife.
No, but-
someone disrespects your wife. You're like, you're getting 12.
But at this
you're getting
point-
12%.
This motherfucker just
I'm
got
teaching you a
9.
lesson.
But at that point, you're looking after the rest of the establishment. This tip's going to the cooks.
here's what I'm gonna do.
It's not just this
I'm
one
gonna
man.
say to the owner, listen, I left something just because that's how I was raised. Okay.
Yeah.
Listen to me. I left something.
He's not wrong though.
I left something because that's how I was raised. But
he's
this
right.
fucking guy's got to go if I'm ever coming back in here.
That's what they'll do.
Yeah.
They'll get the
Here-
whole
yeah,
place
you're getting
fired.
fired.
I'm not coming back here. My fucking sweet wife likes this place.
Yeah.
We come once a month. It's a wrap now if this kid's fucking here next month. It's a wrap.
And what will you do? What will you do if they're there the next month?
Oh no, I'll just go to I'll go to the owner and go, you fucked up. Okay? I go on podcasts. Okay, I go on stage with a mic. You fucked up.
And then you'll trash the restaurant.
I'll be like, this fucking place used to have great veal. Okay? And now this fucking guy comes out and disrespects my fucking wife. Okay, the veal's not that important to me, my wife. And that's what you do.
Oh man,
Oh, that's
the veal's not
amazing.
that important to you. The tip is.
The tip is very important. Now, the respect thing that exists in Italian culture.
Different Italian though. I have to tell you.
What type of Italian?
My parents are off the boat. So it's a
but it's
different
different
thing.
Canadian.
From where?
No, it's not different
What
Canadian.
part of
My
Italy?
dad's Abruzzese, my mom's Calabrese.
A Abruzzese?
Abruzzese.
So from Abruzzo.
See.
And then Calabrese is from Calabria.
Yeah.
Now
that's the gambling side. That's where I get it from.
Well, the Calabrians, if I'm not mistaken, and the Sicilians, quite similar culturally.
Yes, they're both. Well, the
Mafia exists in
yes,
both.
My father's 100% Sicilian, so I was always taught growing up because of my dad and who he is and how over the top in the character. Oh, we're the elite.
That's the Cosa Nostra.
But yes, but the Northern looks down. I was talking to Giannis about this, and Giannis knows all that history about the shit. And Giannis was saying that the Northern Italians
They look down.
They looked at the Sicilians like they were fucking like the garbage.
The Calabrese too.
Yeah.
Even worse, the Sicilians, because you're on the island over there. You guys are all alone. The
We did the
Calabrese is
mafia,
the boot.
man. So the mafia, we looked like the criminals because it's like Sicily
you
started.
were the criminals.
Because
You were. You were fully the criminals.
They looked at us like we were breaking the law.
The
These
not-
guys. I can't
You're
believe it. What the-
100% the criminals. The Calabrese are the criminals too, and so are the Napolitan.
Right.
All three of
Are
those.
there any Italians that are not? Or is that just a criminal culture? You
Once
just
you
named
get
5 states. It's like
three-
when you talk
three
about
major ones.
Gay neighborhoods in New York. It's like, yeah, it's Soho, West Village, Greenwich Village, East Village, Chelsea, Hell's Kitchen. It's like, is there any not fucking gay place in the city?
Once you get north of Napoli, they become less
They
organized.
become German. If you go up, no, for real. If you go up north,
They do.
Dude,
Dude,
go to-
Austrian. If you go to
they're
like
fucking
Yes.
Germans
No,
up
they-
there. What's that?
and Austrian for
Milan.
sure. If,
It's a bunch of Germans
No.
in Milan.
for sure.
They're not Italian. When I was in Milan, all
Turin.
the orchestra, all the architecture, the buildings,
true.
soup. There's nothing like beautiful about the city.
When you
It's
go
all
to
German.
when you go to northern Italy, though, they'll cover the green part of the flag and make it white and red, and they're more Austrian than anything.
Really?
Yeah, man. It's Canada's like some parts of Quebec are like that, right? With Canada,
Okay.
they don't.
Yeah, they don't rep Canada. What I need to
Exactly.
understand is why does this respect thing?
yeah.
Where does this come from? What is the
we take ourselves a little more,
what is the importance of it? Like, because every time like a culture has like an unwritten rule, it's to keep people alive. Like the unwritten rule for Japanese people, you know how they're so polite to each other?
Yeah.
It's because they used to just take out that sword and cut each other in half. There was like a real problem with samurai shit back in the day. So it was like, okay, now we have to overcorrect with bowing, and I'm going to look at the ground. I'm not even going to look you in the eyes when I see you because it was so crazy. So where does this fucking respect thing come from?
I just was kind of born into it where my father would be like, there's like a little taking yourself seriously. That's why Sicilians, if there's in my family too, they would go months without talking. A lifetime without talking to each other. If they loved you and you hurt them, they would go, I don't want them at my funeral.
Oh yeah.
No, that's a real. No, that's a real
my,
thing.
My
Andrew.
nonna
That's a
got
real.
booted from a funeral.
That's a
one
real
time.
thing.
I swear to God, that was
families,
that was an
Sicilian
embarrassing
families.
day.
If there's a disconnect or there's a beef or some sort of drama within the family that you love, it could be a brother, it could be a cousin.
Oh, yeah.
And you go, listen to me. If they are not permitted at my funeral, they're dead to me, and that is that shit. And
Yeah,
it's just
man. My
part of it,
nonna
man.
got booted hard from a funeral. That was a tough day for our family. She went in there and she started throwing shade at someone in the line. When you give the condolences, and we all got booted. And my uncle was still parking the car at the time, and we were shocked, bro. You ever get booted from a funeral? It stings. It stings hard, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And my nonna, she's old, so she's playing dumb and stuff like that. She knows. She knew what she was doing, bro. She brought us there saying she had no issues. She knew what she was doing.
So she came for the smoke.
Bro, she came, she pinched the lady's cheek. I was like sort of close to
dead
her.
woman?
No, not the dead woman.
that's what I thought.
No, lady
No,
in the line.
In the line, and she said, I don't know who you are. But she knew, bro. She knew. She knew, and I sort of said, she said
Who
it's
was
sort
she?
of an
Was she
Italian.
related to the dead?
Oh, yeah. She was it was like the dead's like daughter-in-law. And then they booted us in the line. Everyone got, see you later,
I
hasta la
haven't even-
vista. And then my uncle was still parking the car at the time because it was like a big funeral. And we were shell-shocked, and we were in the lobby because we were all looking at each other like, what the fuck did Nonna do? And then my uncle came in. We just didn't tell him. And then he got booted too.
He got the old heave-ho?
He got the heave-ho, buddy. You just saw him go in, and then you just heard, like the noise.
Yeah.
And then he ran out of the room. Like, what the fuck happened? And we're like,
Yeah,
talk
no,
to Nonna.
No, it's weird.
She's
I
a
have
loon.
this
Do you
thing.
find yourselves when you operate in society outside of like the Italian structure? Do you find people significantly different than you?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't grow up in it because my father was not in my life that much. Like, they got divorced when I was 5. So my visitations with him, that's when I got it.
So do you
But
think
my
the
mother's Greek.
racism
My mother's Greek.
inherited, or?
Do you know what I mean? My mother's Greek, and Greeks are silently racist. So Greeks will kind of just like look out the window and be like, yeah, we don't, Where Italians are like, what the fuck is that? It's just so
Greeks got a lot of beef, eh? They got beef with the Macedonians, the Turkish, the Albanians.
Oh, dude, Giannis,
I don't know how silent it is.
Giannis's mother wouldn't go into it. Like, me and Giannis went to a Turkish restaurant, and it was delicious. And he's like, my mother wouldn't step foot in here. She wouldn't step foot.
Apparently, Giannis did 23andMe, and he's like 60% Turkish or something.
And he said he was devastated.
He said, I will let my mother die before I share this information with her, and I won't come out publicly with this information.
And you know what? If he did share it with her, she would deny it.
She would deny it.
She'd go, no, that's wrong. Those tests aren't right.
I don't think they're right, but I also think it's hilarious.
Do you think? How can they be
I don't
wrong?
know. I just don't believe it. I really just don't.
I don't believe that either. They switch too. They switch so quick.
Dude, I feel like they just make up shit.
My girlfriend gets updates and she's like, "Oh, I'm 3%
It's really hard to
Romanian now."
prove
I'm
that
like,
that's
"No, you're
real.
not. What are you talking about?"
They do it with dogs,
So what do you
too.
think they're
Someone's like,
doing?
oh, you could get your dog. You could find out what breed of dog, and like 4 things come back, and you're like, that's a fucking lab.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I think you never know if they're telling
And
the
then they
truth or
tell
not.
you all this stuff about your like.
What are you, Andrew?
Huh?
What are you? Like, nationality-wise?
My mom's born and raised in Scotland.
Okay.
And
Your
my
last name's
dad's-
German though, right?
My last name's German, yeah.
So you're German and Scottish?
My dad's like Irish and German, but we're talking about like 1800s in America, so not really attached to his Irish and German side.
So what are you mostly? Scottish?
Yeah.
Culturally,
You want to get away from that German side,
not really, because we came here before.
Yeah, but you're also mostly
bro.
Scottish.
My grandfather fought for the Axis.
What is it?
He's
Yeah, that's right.
Italian.
You're like Mussolini or
Oh,
some
buddy,
shit.
big time Mussolini.
Yeah, that was the most impressive thing about World War II. is you
Mussolini
had-
fucked everything up.
Well, no. You had all these Americans that were German and Italian, and somehow we convinced Americans whose uncles, cousins,
Oh, yeah.
fathers,
Yeah.
grandfathers were all in Italy and Germany still. We're like, yo, we got to go fuck them up. And then the boys were like, all right. Like, that is...
some conspiracy theory shit. If the U.S. government knew about Pearl Harbor and just kind of let it happen, is that why? Is it like this
100%.
The only
You
fucking
need
way
to
they're
find-
gonna, this is
the
the only
only way
way
they'll go after it.
You gotta
100%.
get pushed somehow, right?
Yeah, you need justification.
Yeah.
But it is pretty amazing, right? All of our... If you're white in America, chances are you got some, at bare minimum, German. And,
Every white
or
person
Italian.
is German, Irish, or Italian. And the one
Yeah.
of those two.
So
For
yeah.
sure.
So culturally,
Some
I
mix.
mean, but my dad was like a New Yorker. You know, he's born in Manhattan. Like
Yeah.
his family's from Chicago, and then my mom is like straight from Scotland. But she didn't really like. She loves Scotland, and that's part of her. But it was also like a place that kind of like held her down in a weird way. There's like an oppressive.
Okay.
It's like when you come from a small town and you grew up poor. There's this sense, especially in like the UK, of, hey, don't be better than everybody
Who do you
else.
think you are?
Yeah, who you think you are. Like, you know, don't forget where you came from, that kind of stuff. And my mom's a fucking dreamer, and that kind of offends people in like really working class, poor areas.
Really?
Yeah, because it's almost like it makes someone go, well, should I? Is something wrong with me for not dreaming?
The Scottish are praised in Canada because of how no one fucks with the Scottish.
Oh, yeah.
They are the toughest, craziest group of people ever. Because the Canadian soldiers on the front line, they were all Scottish.
Yeah.
And they were animals.
Yeah.
No one fucks with the Scottish.
Yeah. The
They
English
are
didn't want that smoke.
nothing.
Yeah.
Like,
Really?
oh,
Then
they're tough.
Then they bodied us. But that's the whole Braveheart idea, right? It's like an army of like, what was it, like 3,000
a
Willing to
Scots?
fight
small
uphill and all that
army.
shit.
A small army.
Yeah, I'm still tripping on the fact that the Canadian army intimidates anybody. That's
Yo,
hilarious.
son, I
No,
don't
they
like
don't.
admitting it. We tried to invade.
Yeah, 1812.
They pushed it back. My favorite tweet of all time is somebody was saying that shit, like some Canadian goes, he goes, yeah, America, never forget 1812. We busted your ass and it sent you back. And then some guy goes, y'all want to try running it back?
That's fucking great.
We were technically still in England at the
That's
time.
great. You
though.
want to run that shit
You
back?
want to run that
That's
shit back,
great.
son? Nobody wants to smoke now.
That's fucking great.
But you know what?
But yeah. But culturally, it's hard. I identify as New York. I think this is why it was,
Yeah.
and it might be why it was kind of easy for me to kind of to relate to people that weren't of quote unquote my culture because I never really had one that I had to like be a part of.
Yeah.
So being around friends from these different walks of life was just intriguing to me because there was nothing that was that different than mine because I never thought I had a thing. I never had like a identity. My identity has been molded by the people around me, right? So I never had, I must live up to being Greek. I must live up to being Italian. This is how we operate.
Right.
Both of my parents were black sheep in their families, so they created their own identities. And then I created my own identity based on the things that I had kind of experienced.
Yeah, see, like my mom is Greek, but she never put it on because my grandmother put it on her, tried to put it on her so much.
She fought back against it.
She resented it.
Yeah.
So I never, my mom's side, which is 100% Greek, never. I might as well just be, I was just a New Yorker, that's it. My father, when I would visit him, understand where you come from, understand your grandmother came here from Sicily. So I got it more from him, but my mother not.
What's funny is my parents didn't put it on me at all. And I think that's probably why I'm so pro now, because I feel like, oh, fuck, if I had my roots, I'd have been much better off from the time it was put in me until the time I found it later.
I'm not saying it's bad to have it put on.
Is that rare for your? Is that rare for your culture to
I
not
think
put
so.
it on?
My mom kind of made a conscious choice. My dad was just busy doing he just had his own issues to work out. And then like, I just kind of, so many Indian things I just don't know. Yeah. And I'm like learning them all now, trying to. Because once you get the roots, it's like, it just grounds you.
I think there's like amazing things when you kind of have a culture that's passed down to you, obviously. But I also, and I think for the majority of people, it's very important. It kind of gives them structure and a sense of like belonging and community. But I also think that there's immense value in not being imprisoned by that.
Yeah.
So it's like the tricky thing I think with kids is like, how do I give them the best parts of me and the best parts of the culture I came from and not inhibit their own personal identity and growth? Like, you know, one of the cool things I think even about this podcast, right, is that, you know, everybody that's involved in this podcast just happens to be from some different culture, right? But we're uniting not based on what you were born looking like or
100%.
the religion that we do, literally uniting on, hey, we're just going to say fucked up jokes like we've always done with our friends. And we're going to do it on a podcast because everybody's fucking scared to do that shit now.
Yeah.
You know? So the idea that people connect with us is not based on, hey, we're Italian, so we got to support Italian. It's, yo, we like fucked up comedy.
Right.
I'm just thinking of this, so it might completely fall flat and be stupid, but it's not, it shouldn't be like chains, your identity. It should be like a seatbelt. Like, this will keep you safe, but you can stretch. You can move beyond this whole space right here. This is kind of keeping you in a place, but don't be afraid to roam around and see. You're just safe with this.
Yeah.
Well, my kids are like 9 things because even though I'm Sicilian and Greek,
What's
my
your
wife
wife?
is like Swedish, Finnish, English, German, maybe a little Scottish. Like my wife is like French. My wife is like 7 things, and I'm 2. So my kids are just. My son looks like he's fucking Scandinavian.
Right.
My son's, you know,
uber white.
Blonde,
You
and
just
then
named
my
9
daughter
white
is
things.
more. My daughter's more olive skin looking Italian. So it's like, but I always throw in, hey, just understand that, like, you know, Mediterranean's a little better. I gotta just tell, you know, a little bit, just because it's, you know what I mean, just understand you're Italian. But I mean, listen, your mother's because my wife, dude, my wife came home. My wife has all these fucking.
Listen, your mom did all the work birthing you and raising you, but you're Italian. Never forget that. Listen, I'm out on the road. I barely ever see you, but
I'm
You're
raised that. No, but she's got all this Irish, you know.
Listen, I don't even know your middle name, kiddo.
Like, and she's into like when the Irish parade, you know, she puts kiss me, I'm Irish, and I was like, what is this? And she goes, I'm Irish, and I go, you know, come on. Yeah, come on.
My dad came from Italy when he was 12, came to Canada, and he got put back a couple grades because he couldn't speak English.
Right.
And he was telling us how kids were racist to him because he was like saying, you know, how people are like, well,
Italians just became white. You're the latest white.
Okay. People don't think that, though.
I think the Irish were almost, the Irish became
I think you're
white,
right about that.
Then the Italians became white. Everybody's going to become, black people, just wait. It's going to fucking happen, right? Black people are coming, you're going to be white, and then I think last will probably
Alex
Muslims.
is doing everything he can to make that happen for future generations.
Black people are taking it in their own hands, like, we're going to have some babies. You're going to have to, you can't deny them.
But I have cousins who are Guyanese, and they were saying, and one of our cousins was telling us how he was getting bullied on the internet. They were saying he was brown and but whatever. And then my dad was like, yeah, I was bullied too because I was Italian.
Yeah.
And we were sort of laughing at him because like, we're like, bro, you can't, how are they racist to you? And he got pissed, dude.
Yeah.
My dad like started tearing up. He's like a tough guy and he started tearing up and he said, and we started dying of laughter because I was like, Dad, shut the fuck up, man. Like, you didn't get, it's not racist. And he goes, Alex, have you ever got hit in the face with a snowball and be called a spaghetti bender? And we died of laughter. But he was dead serious. He was dead serious. And we started doing it. My nonna was doing that. She was like, oh, shut the fuck up. Like, we were dying. A spaghetti bender. And
I never heard of that one.
Yeah, bro.
Dude,
that's off the boat.
I heard a good one. This is about lips. Have you heard this one?
Lips.
Nah.
She got some soup coolers.
That's great.
Bro. That's a good one.
That's a good one, yo. That's a good one.
Soup coolers, dog.
That's
Soup
amazing.
coolers
It's not really sexual, but it is overtly sexual.
It's so fucking good.
Soup coolers.
Look at the soup
I
coolers
feel
on
like
that
we've
thing.
lost. I feel like when I was growing up in the city,
Yeah.
we had names for everything.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like we've lost that. Like, does this generation of kids, they have some slang like lit and all that, these kind of words, but
Fire lit.
but do they have clever
No.
slang like we had? Where
Which
we would
one?
refer to certain things.
Like what? Like what?
Soup coolers. It's just such a throwback term.
I've never heard that. Really? Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
I remember mint.
Y'all said shit like bomb diggity.
Yeah, we had trash words too. No, we had trash words too.
Bombay was
like-
trash as fuck.
Yeah, no,
That's
that
the
was
Bombay.
bad.
That was
I
so
never
bad.
said that shit.
Yeah. Yo, that's a burger. Remember when something?
I hated
No.
that.
Was it when someone was bad? It was a burger.
Yes,
What
was
was
something.
it?
I remember I had somebody who was a friend of mine who was a Mets fan. He goes, "Man, Mariano Rivera, he's a burger," and I was like, "How fuck what? Burger's the worst."
Yeah, burger
I
was
never
really
said,
bad.
but burger's the worst.
Burger was
I never
bad.
heard burger.
Yeah,
Yeah,
burger.
burger
we
That's
had-
a
bad
bad
one.
thing. The burger's a bad thing. All right.
Yeah, burger was a bad one. I like dope. We started dope and mint. Fresh.
Mint. I know.
Fresh was
Yeah.
a little before art. The fresh was
No,
70s.
dope was dope. Dope was dope.
Dope came
You know what's
back.
crazy? I was watching. I remember years ago. I was watching the Cosby Show. I said
Yeah.
years ago because you can't watch it anymore. Anyway, Rudy, who was like 5 years old. This episode came out in like 1990, and she was using all this slang, and like the parents were like, "What the fuck is she saying?" She said "dope." That's dope, and I was like, "This is like 1990. This word is older than I thought." I thought we really made that shit pop in like 98.
I thought even later than that. Really?
It's
No,
been
no,
around,
90s. It was 90s.
Dope was early and then went away.
Yeah, it
Went
might have
away.
come back. Made
And
a
then
resurgence.
And then it just came back. Yeah. Dude, remember people say rad?
No, I don't remember rad.
Rad
You don't
short
remember
for
rad?
radical,
Gnarly?
Dude,
Yeah, it was
radical.
rad.
Dude, that
That's
shit is
too much,
rad.
yeah.
That
Dude,
shit is
yeah.
rad.
That never made it to
Well, there was
Canada.
Fly.
Did you have a skateboarding
Fly's
phase or
dope.
no?
Fly.
course.
Yeah, I had a skateboarding phase too.
Yeah.
Remember when like Tony Hawk and his crew had all those boards out, like Power
the
Peralta?
birdhouse.
Bro, I want to see you skateboarding Italian as you are. Just like kicking
Holding a
it.
fucking Merlot.
Green, white, and red rims just coming in.
Yeah, what color wheels you got? You got white wheels?
Hey, those bearings you got, those are ball bearings? Let me see the spin on your wheel. Oh, yeah, those go. Those
Yeah.
go.
What movie back then changed you? Like what movie
Couple.
coming up?
Friday.
Not
Before Friday,
Not
right?
Friday. You know what? This was, I think, later. Oh, I know Swingers definitely changed me. I remember Swingers was the first movie that made me go, oh my God, you could like just charm girls into liking you. And you could
Okay.
just be funny and interesting and irreverent, and then girls would give you attention because of it. And I was like, whoa, that was, because before that, all you see in movies is a guy being romantic. And then Swingers was the first time you saw a guy bust balls and then just be absurd with these girls, right? He wasn't trying to be suave.
Yeah, I
it
wasn't
was
trying to
almost
be
the opposite. And it was working.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, this guy's great. So Swingers, and then you know what movie really fucking changed me for like a matter of months? That poker movie with Matt Damon.
Rounders.
Son,
Shit
Rounders.
was fire, yo.
I've never
Rounders-
seen Rounders.
Rounders was a very big.
Oh.
Yeah, Rounders was big, man.
That's
When
a
was that?
movie, dog. And Matt Damon and Edward Norton and John Malkovich.
Son,
You know the
it
guy that
was
made that movie.
amazing.
was
He's in
that?
the crowd. The guy that made that movie is Koppelman, and he's the one that put Dan Soder in Billions.
Really?
And I'm on stage at Stand Up New York, and there's this guy, white beard. He almost looked homeless. I was joking with him. He had a hat on. And we start going back and forth, and and luckily I didn't. We had like this cool moment. And all of a sudden, I guess he texted Soder, and he goes, "You know, Paul Virzi, this kid's funny." He goes, "Yeah." And all of a sudden, I find out it was Brian Koppelman, and he made Rounders. And he was just sitting there, and he likes comedians. So that's
I've seen him around the cellar.
You've seen him around, he's just
yeah,
white
yeah,
bearded guy.
yeah.
He made Rounders.
Great fucking
and
movie,
Matt
but you
Rounders
gotta
was
watch
fuck,
it.
dude. Ed Norton
amazing.
and
Yeah.
Rounders is an amazing film.
How good was Malkovich in that?
Oh,
So
don't
good.
splash the pot.
Pay that man his money.
that
I will
man is
splash the
money.
pot whenever the fuck I please.
Yeah, that was great.
Dude. But all right, so put it about this way. Think about this.
How much false hope in poker did you have after that movie?
Son, I walked around with a pack of cards. And I walked around with a pack of cards, and I had money in the cards in case anybody wanted to play.
Oh, that's so fucking.
Chips in your sock? What's
Say
going
what?
on? Chips in your sock?
Oh, and you were in New York City, so y'all were in it.
I was hyped by it, man. And I had friends that were in the whole poker, billiards world. So there are these like underground poker and billiards clubs in the city where people, they're gambling on shit. And so they were kind of like talking about that world a little bit and exposing it. But it was so cool. And I always thought that movie came out before the poker
The World
boom.
Series of Poker, yeah.
It was before it. It probably pushed it.
Yeah.
But it was before. Imagine during the World Series of Poker boom. I'm talking about like Chris Moneymaker, the guy with those goofy glasses.
Negrano.
Negrano and all the guys.
Yeah.
Imagine that movie came out at the height. That might be the biggest movie of all time.
Yeah.
If it came out at that.
It's a.
I mean,
yeah.
So this is late 90s? Is that what?
Son,
Yes.
I just randomly
high
started
school,
watching it.
freshman year of high school. I'm 36.
And I started watching it sophomore year of high school.
Yeah.
I'm 35. And it was just like on
Maybe
Stars
sophomore,
or
yeah.
whatever. You know how rare it is that you start a movie, you don't know what the fuck it is, and
And
you
then
just
you
watch the whole
finish
thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is
that
so
don't
good,
happen
dude.
that
Edward
much.
Norton is a beast.
He's so good.
Dude, what happened? He took a break. It was weird, man. He's great.
Yeah. He
Yeah,
probably pissed someone off.
American History
I heard
X.
he's not the greatest guy to work with.
Is that right?
I've heard. But
A
I mean,
lot
I don't
of
know how
times,
reliable that is.
no, that's true. A lot of times you see a great actor, and all of a sudden there's like a 6-year gap where you're like, this guy was about to win an Oscar.
Yeah, what
It's
happened
because
here?
they're fucking just nightmares.
Yeah, but I've heard horrible things about the fat kid. What's the fat kid's name?
Jonah Hill? No.
Jonah Hill. Like nobody has ever said anything nice about this Jonah Hill.
Yeah.
Seth Rogen has, and I think that's what.
Seth Rogen has?
I think, yeah. Seth
Yeah, I
Rogen
would
gave him his
imagine.
career.
Yeah.
Look, I can't say. Was it Seth Rogen, 40-year-old virgin?
Yeah. No,
that-
he wasn't in 40-year-old.
No,
Virgin.
he was
that
in Superbad.
No,
he was
Jonah
in 40-year-old. No, Seth Rogen was in 40-year-old Virgin.
Jonah
but it was-
Hill was
Jonah
in
Hill-
40-year-old
Jonah was
virgin.
in
Yeah, he was a
40-year-old
fat kid buying the. He was a fat kid buying
He
the boots
stole
from
the
the
scene.
eBay store.
He didn't even have lines in it, and then I guess
Oh,
they gave
really?
him lines, and he fucking murdered that scene. And then he got other shit
Apparently, I heard this secondhand, but he saw Seth Rogen before Seth Rogen was anything big, and him and his writing partner was like, "Yo, I'm such big fans of you guys," blah blah blah, and then they just struck up a friendship, and this is before Seth Rogen blew. So when he blew,
He's like,
Jonah
"Yo,
was his
I
guy.
got you."
Jonah Hill was in 40-Year-Old Virgin. He blew. Kevin Hart was too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He ripped up a scene
Yo, that
too,
movie,
right?
that movie put some people on.
Yeah, it
man.
really did.
Watch your mouth.
Yeah,
I'm using a lot of
That's
big
fine.
words right now. I don't really know what it means. I'm gonna take it as disrespect. Watch your mouth.
Yo, Bert had a funny joke. I'm not gonna share, but
Yeah,
Bert had a
yeah,
funny
yeah,
joke in the
yeah.
fucking car. After we'll do it. Oh, do you have the scene? Eddin,
yeah.
can we
I'll
watch
pull
it?
up Patreon captain questions while we do that.
Yes. All right, here is Steve Carell walking into this kind of like eBay store or something like that.
Andy, hi.
Right, yeah. You remember my name.
I did.
Oh
How you
yeah,
doing?
I'm
let's
great.
we can
How
talk
are you? I
about
like
it,
your
yeah.
store.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, if you have time, look around. It's
Okay.
Let's think here. What do we got?
How's business been?
it's.
Can we get a little more
coming along. I mean,
volume,
It
man?
takes a while.
Do you want to go out sometime?
Yes.
She was the love interest in a
Yes,
couple
I
movies.
would like that.
She was pretty, man. Who is that?
I was
think
never
I'm
as into her as
maybe
everybody
free
was.
this weekend.
I think
if
she was
you,
in Being
if
John
that's okay, or
Malkovich.
you could call me
She was in a
tomorrow.
movie where
There it is, right
there
here.
is-
Step Brothers.
Great.
Great. Okay, so I'll call you and.
I think you
yeah,
control it
that'll
over
do
there,
good.
no?
That'll be good. How you doing?
God, he was really fat,
Okay.
man.
So-
I didn't even
Congratulations.
realize.
Oh
Can I
man.
help
him.
you?
Yeah, these are wonderful. I'll take these.
Thanks. They are. They're great. And the goldfish just crack me up.
Funny.
Yeah.
They are.
Funny.
Cute.
I don't.
I mean, he
actually
looks
sell
like a
anything here, I
calzone,
just
dude.
sell them-
Oh, I don't get it.
looks like a Budweiser frog.
Can you help me?
No, I don't think you're on your own here. Good luck to you and to you. And, I'll give you a call.
Great.
Great. Nice to see
Thanks
you.
for coming in. Bye.
So I guess I'll just give you some money and you can give me these shoes and
You know, I know it seems so strange.
yeah. So I'd just rather buy them from you straight up.
Yeah, I know. I wish it could be that easy, but
I wish too, but you're making it extremely difficult for me. I'm just trying to get these shoes back to my house so I can wear them.
I got a corpse in my way.
Just kill it. That's just so not fair.
Pause. Thank you. All right, so we got some Capitan questions. First one is from...
First one, let's do Tunji Taylor Lewis. A couple people asked us, do you think there's more pressure on the Lakers to win the championship? Obviously, now the Kobe.
Let's do the Ari one. Let's do the Ari one.
Oh, okay. Few people asked about our thoughts on Ari.
Yeah.
Bobby Raymond Moss, a couple other people. Bobby Broadway, a couple others.
Guys?
Jesus. You know, it's hard to talk about a friend like that because I love Ari, but I just feel like, you know, I just feel, listen, man, at the end of the day, if I got to be honest, I think it was just in poor taste because of the timing of it and also that his daughter was on there. Like, but I will say this, Ari's a good dude. Like, when I tell you, like, the dude that Ari is, people don't understand who he really is. Like, Ari called me up the other, I don't know, a couple months back, and he's like, hey, man, I got tickets. It's the end of the Yankee season, and me, Giannis, and Ari went to a Yankee game. He's generous, he's gracious, he's helpful, he's been up to my house. He's a good dude. Then when this shit happens, when shit gets stirred up with, or a celebrity dying, he likes to be the one to say something, and people are like, oh, that's Ari. This one, I think he fucked it up. I think he fucked up. And the only reason why I say that is because the guy... It's his 13-year-old daughter was on the thing where he did it, and there wasn't really a joke in there.
Yeah,
it was more of a shock thing, I think, and it backfired on him, and it's just an unfortunate thing. That's just my take on it, but I know that he's not a bad dude.
Yeah, you don't want to be a hypocrite, especially when you're a comedian and go, oh, you can't make jokes about this. You can make jokes about anything. You can make light about everything. That's how people cope, obviously. But I don't know what he said. You know, I was actually sad about the Kobe thing, and I was just watching all the, you know, ESPN and all that. So I don't really know what he said, but from the gist of it, there's no joke. There's just
That's
him.
the issue. You can make jokes about anything, but there was no joke. Now, I will always say, even if I fucking hate and think what you said is so goddamn vile, you do have the freedom to say it.
Exactly.
And I don't think the consequence should be that you get stomped the fuck out for saying something stupid.
No. Absolutely not.
Yeah, I was just like, yo, there's no. I mean, I never really knew Ari. We're not friends.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, this is like gross.
I like Ari.
Gross.
Yeah.
I think Ari's funny. I feel that way because I've seen him be hilarious. And I've always known him to be like a good guy. I think what happened here is the world got introduced to something that's been running for a long time and not knowing any context of it. So I think what Ari does is when anybody dies, he does these things where he trashes the person that dies.
Yeah.
So it's a recurring gag that he has. And sometimes what happens when you have a recurring gag, and you see this on sitcoms all the time, is sometimes you get lazy with the joke because everybody knows it's a recurring gag. It's baked in.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're only really performing for your people who know about the gag. Right?
You're not, though.
Right.
He's smart enough to know that.
100%. Let me finish. So basically, what happens is my biggest issue with this whole thing is there was no joke.
Yes.
We can only defend comedy.
Tony Hinchcliffe had a joke.
Tony had a great joke.
It was a tweet. Kobe passing? That can't be true.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a joke.
Great joke.
Tyler Morrison had a joke.
What was Tyler's?
Something about how he couldn't. Something
Don't
about
say it if you don't know.
I don't know it.
Okay. So the point is you cannot defend comedy if comedy doesn't exist. Okay? Everybody's questioning why he did it. I'm trying to explain why he did it. He did it because this is something he does when people die.
Yeah.
Now, he claimed on his thing that he didn't know that his daughter was in the helicopter with him, or that I guess he thought he was flying the helicopter himself. I'm not exactly sure. He's taken down the tweets, and now he has a kind of apology up, which is weird for Ari because
he doesn't apologize.
Ari was the, I'm never going to apologize. I'm not going to take down tweets. I'm not going to do this thing guy. So now, on some level, if you're going to walk it back, you're not really asking the comedy community to come to your defense.
But we couldn't come to it.
But even if we could, we can't defend you if you don't want to defend it.
Oh, yeah. I also
you see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
Like, if you go, yo, I fucked up,
I see what you're saying.
then we're not going to go, I'm going to risk everything to ride for you if you're not riding for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I will also say this is, if he apologized,
He didn't really apologize.
Okay.
He explained. You should watch it before you say.
Is it a video?
No, it's just words of.
Okay.
Before you comment on it, you should probably read it just so you know exactly what you're commenting, because it's a very tricky
and
thing.
in Ari's defense, and obviously, I think the timing and all that probably plays into this. But in his defense, he did it with Tom Petty. He did it with Luke Perry. He did, like you said, it is an ongoing gag. I just think the timing of this and everybody was just like, whoa. And I think if he would go, I think, and I can't speak for Ari, but I don't think he would. I think if he could go back, he wouldn't have done
Clearly
it.
he wouldn't have, because he took it down.
Right.
Sorry, clearly he would have not done it because he took it down. This is him trying to say, I don't want to.
Right.
And the problem with this is it becomes bigger than you. When you start going, when people start saying, yo, we're going to come to your show and fuck you up. Now you're putting pressure on the clubs.
Right.
Now you're putting unnecessary pressure on the clubs. You're putting pressure. Maybe people go to your show. They don't want to be there for that kind of thing.
And
Are
here's
they
the other
liable?
thing, but let's talk about Kobe for a second.
Yeah.
Okay. When John F. Kennedy got assassinated, my parents told me, both of them know exactly where they were, and the country was fucked up.
Yeah.
This was a death in our lifetime that we were actually talking about that the other night.
Yeah.
You were there. We were talking about at the after party, the Patrice thing. What's the biggest ones in our lifetime as far as sports? I wasn't.
This is sports Princess Diana. If you're a
This
sports fan, this is
yeah,
Princess
like
Diana.
I mean,
100%.
Roberto Clemente in a plane crash, bringing people, when they were going over there for charity. Thurman Munson but this is like other than Jordan and LeBron. Other than Jordan and LeBron, this is a global icon. This is an American, and then to find out on top of it, his 13-year-old daughter that he was going to help. So this was like a double fucking. I'll be honest with you. Like, I was joking. Like, if my mother, I was really overhurt on this. Like, if my mother was like, "Hey, your uncle died," I'd be like, "Hey, he was an alcoholic. Of course he did." You know what I mean? And now Kobe Bryant is a guy that I didn't know. This is a man that played basketball, and my son and I are walking around our house fucked up over it.
Yeah, we're all fucked up. And I think the thing that anybody who makes fucked up jokes is going to say is somebody's fucked up about everything, right? Like, there's somebody that's fucked up about 9/11. People are still making 9/11 jokes, right?
Right.
So, and I think more of the world was fucked up, and we all felt the same way about this event. So it was really visceral, and it was really there. But to what Akaash was saying earlier is, as long as the joke is funny, we will defend it because we defend funny. Here's something that you put us in a position where we cannot really defend because there's nothing funny in it.
All I can defend
I
is
don't
freedom
even
of speech.
There's nothing clever about it.
I don't even think you said funny.
No,
a joke needs to exist, and there was a lack of that.
If it's a try, cool. You're also a guy with a Netflix special. You're not an open micer. This is what an open micer would do who doesn't know how to be funny yet.
Right.
Go, it's funny. He raped somebody. It's great. He died. That's an open micer trying to figure out how to be funny. You're 20 years deep in comedy, probably.
Right.
You should know how to be funny. You got a Netflix special. And if this is your running gag, what you do is you love walking the high wire of making people laugh at things they shouldn't laugh at. And there's a degree of effort and work you have to put into that. If you are lazy with that, you're going to fall. That's the risk you take.
The cost of falling on the high wire is very high.
And that's part of the fun. But if you're just going to be like, yeah, he's a rapist. All right, man.
Is that what he said? See, I don't even know if
That's
that's
the
what he said.
laziest way you could have done that. You are going to fall off that high wire.
Yeah. So it's a tricky thing. And now everybody reaches out, of course, to us,
Yeah.
to, what our opinions on it and that kind of stuff. And it's like, you always want to support your brother.
Yeah.
Just like Ari's supported tons of comics who have been canceled before and
When my
had their back.
When
and-
my first special deal fell apart with a certain company I won't name, Ari called me up and was like, "Hey man, like, what's going on? Are you all right?" So, I think everybody's entitled to. He made a mistake. Everybody's entitled to make a mistake,
Yeah.
and like, I'm more concerned. I just want him to be okay.
Yeah.
I want him to
You don't
be
want someone to fuck him up.
I want him to be okay. He made a
Yeah.
mistake, and
Yeah.
you know.
I think he made a mistake and he realized it, and I think that's why he deleted it, and then he put that kind of explanation there. And I think there's probably some ego. I don't know exactly this thing, but I'm sure there's some ego going in there where he doesn't want to just come out and flat apologize because he wants to stand by his guns. But you can't. There's this thing in comedy where it's like, I'm never going to apologize. I'm not apologizing for a funny joke. If the joke is funny and the joke is good, I'm standing by it. We can all admit we fucked up. We can all
That's what I was
admit a
gonna
joke
say, yeah.
is not funny, and it doesn't make you any less of an advocate for comedy. It doesn't make you any less an advocate for funny. We make jokes that aren't funny,
Yeah.
and then we fall off the high wire. And sometimes the right thing to do is acknowledge that.
Yeah.
I really do believe that. And the right thing to do as the audience is to go, you know what? I saw what you were doing. And hey, I'm grateful that you take chances because I really enjoyed all the other funny, fucked up shit you said.
Yeah.
Don't be out here enjoying fucked up comedy. And then when someone falls off the high wire shit, go,
Yeah,
how the
exactly.
fuck could you say? Because you were just laughing at Princess Diana. You were just laughing at the 9/11 joke.
Yeah.
You were just laughing at the Holocaust shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't bat 1,000 in this game.
No.
We don't bat 1,000. You know, so if we can acknowledge that we were wrong, I think that you got to give us some leeway in that. And I hope that that's kind of what he did. I think he probably could have done a better job of it, but I hope that that's kind of what I hope people understand. Because the guy I know is a good guy.
I mean, I couldn't have said it better. Like, people don't know this dude. They see this and they think he's not a bad guy, man.
I don't know him. I just don't see the joke attempt. I will always say, hey, joke
I
attempts.
think we all agree on that.
Yeah,
it's
that's where
100%.
it's real tough. That's just where it's real tough.
Yeah, because you really make it hard for us. Because I'll ride with any comic, even if I don't know you. And I've done it with comics I've never even met before.
That's
they got
how
in trouble.
That's how we got a relationship with Shane.
100%. Shane, the girl that said the X joke.
Yeah.
What's her
Dina.
name? Dina.
Dina
Like
Hashem.
anything, because it's bigger than us, right? It's just it's if you don't protect comedy, then there is none of it.
Yeah.
So if we have to come out and protect, and then these are the instances that are really fucked up because there's no comedy protect. We're protecting our brother because he is a comedian.
Yeah.
And we have, a kinship with him, right? But he also has to protect comedy by going, hey, this wasn't comedy.
Yeah.
I fucked up.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
You also owe it to comedy to go, this wasn't funny. Like, as a comedian who knows funny, it wasn't here,
Like,
dog.
why should my guys have to deal with this?
That's it.
Yeah.
It's as simple as like, if you decide to go, steal or do some, not jokes, but if you decide to steal something from a store, you don't go back to your family like, yo, bail me out. It's like, no, you got to handle that as a man.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's important for everybody to stick, with people. I know people were saying stuff like, oh, yeah, Rogan can't get you out of this. And it's like, first of all, we're all friends. Like, if I did some stupid shit, I would expect my friends to fuck, you know what I mean? And I would be the first one to go, I fucked up.
Yeah.
I fucked up.
It's like you in North Carolina.
Yeah, it's like me in North Carolina.
Let's do another one and we got to roll out of here.
I forget who asked it, but do you think there's more pressure on the Lakers to win a championship now?
Oh, that's a great question.
I think the answer to the question is...
So LeBron got to do it. It's not even
Yes.
a question. LeBron got to do it. And if he does it, what a monumental season this would be.
If the Lakers win the championship this year, it will be fucking...
Real quick, real quick. If there is... I know this sounds fucked up, but there are a lot of people out there that are completely devoid of emotion about anything or empathy. And all they care about is money. And if the Lakers go on a tear, the NBA, there's some people at the NBA licking their fucking chops right now going, oh, LeBron, bring us to the promised, because it will be that game 7 or game 6, that closeout game, whatever the fuck it is, if they make it to the finals, that will be the most viewed game.
This is
in the history of the National Basketball Association. They will have Kobe's name and banner all over. They'll have Kobe's kids in the front row.
Only time
They'll
the
have
NBA would
pictures
do
of
Super Bowl
LeBron
numbers.
going up to the girls and hugging them and kissing them and the wife.
It would
They
be a
will milk
spectacle.
this fucking
Jesus,
thing.
Andrew, you're making me... You got to go do PR for that shit.
I guarantee you, so many people put money on the Lakers for the rest of the year to win the
Here's what's
championship.
crazy.
Of course he'd make it about gambling.
Dude, that's honestly, bro, that's what it is sometimes, a lot of it, man.
But
they,
it's fixed. The NBA is... Listen, the NBA is manipulated. There's no question. There's no fucking question.
All sports are, though.
Or it's fixed in a way where it's manipulated. It's not straight up fixed where, hey, the Wizards win tonight. It's not like that. But it's manipulated, and you know.
So is
and
the
LeBron,
NFL,
and LeBron
though.
always...
David Stern said, I know where the bodies are buried because I'm the one who buried them.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all you need to know about the NBA being manipulated.
100% manipulated.
But you were about to say something, though.
This is the only time the Lakers, like as big as they are, they will be the team. Yeah, people want to.
That's
win.
a great argument.
It's the.
That's a
New York
great
Yankees
argument.
after 9/11.
You were rooting for them a little.
It would be
Yeah.
the same thing with the Lakers, where it's like, yo,
Yes.
they let them fucking get this one, man. Let's go. I'm the biggest Laker hater. Go get this.
Yo,
shit, yo.
and now think about
Yeah.
this. This is really interesting. A team is going to have to face them.
Yeah.
we know who it is. We know who
But
it is.
Clippers.
They're going to make of course. They're going to make the story, for sure.
Yeah, but the Clippers aren't in the Eastern Conference.
In
No, but they're in the
finals.
West.
No, they're in the
Bucks.
Western Conference
No,
Finals.
I'm talking about there's going to be a team that stands in the way.
If they get there.
If hypothetically speaking,
Are you talking about if they get
there.
to the finals?
Let's say they get to the finals. There's going to be a
Against
team
the East, yeah.
that stands in
It's
the
gonna be
way
the Bucks.
of Kobe's legacy.
Yeah, it's going to be on. It's going to be
cemented.
it's
Now, here's the thing.
Bucks.
Let's say it's the Bucks. Who cares? It doesn't matter, right? That team automatically becomes the villain, and they really don't deserve it.
No,
and you
they
carry
don't.
that forward.
And that's exactly. There's a cost to that because now you're the villain forever. You're the guy that stole that ring from the Lakers the year that Kobe died.
But you know what you say? You know what you say?
What?
If you're Giannis,
Kobe would have wanted me
Kobe
to go
would
at
have
him.
wanted me to go take their fucking take their life. And
Mamba mentality.
You got
Mamba
honestly,
mentality.
you got to get in. If I'm them, if I'm the Bucks, or if I'm the Celtics, whoever it
Raptors.
is, I get on that ahead of time. Listen, don't get me wrong. I love the story. I love the idea about the
love
Lakers
Kobe. I looked
doing
up
this,
to
and I
Kobe.
love Kobe. And I'll tell you one thing: Kobe would have told me if he was live right now. He said, "You better have no sympathy on those Lakers. You better go beat the shit out of them
Rip
because
their
that's Mamba
fucking hearts out,
mentality."
yeah.
You got to get that out in the press,
And they will.
immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately,
Yeah.
or else they will eat you the fuck alive, dude.
And you know the NBA wants the Lakers now. You know, if you thought LeBron got calls before, watch this shit.
Oh yeah.
Why he's this
You know what's gonna be
motherfucker.
interesting too? Kawhi don't give a fuck.
Kawhi does
don't.
not care.
Kawhi got LeBron got a tough ass time with Kawhi.
Oh, yeah.
Historically. So if Kawhi is healthy enough,
Yo,
in-
is
in the
Kawhi
playoffs-
autistic? Is he?
He
He's
might
a
be a little
genius.
autistic.
Does it? Because he's got this very when he's spoken to, he's got this. It's almost like helps his game. He's got like locked in away.
Yeah.
He's like away from shit.
Like
Focused.
Dan Natterman. yeah. Look, guys, we got to wrap this up. Thank you guys so much for coming
thanks
on.
for
Thanks.
This is
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, I want you guys to.
One of my favorite podcasts.
Thank you, man. It's your favorite podcast. It's your favorite podcast, bro. Ain't no one of your favorite podcasts, bro. This is your favorite podcast.
fucking
Now-
hyenas, get out of here,
Yeah,
buddy.
yeah, come on now.
Studio
Look,
B over there, get out of here.
I didn't even do fucking hyenas. That's hilarious.
Hey, don't
So-
rope me into this.
So, yeah, I want everybody to know about you guys. It's important to me that we really expose, the comics in New York to the world, and I think that's what we're going to be doing over the next, few months is really showcasing the great comics that New York has, and because nobody's really doing it, and I think especially on this level. So it's like we got to do it. We got a great scene here. We're going to build the scene, and I think reorganize the scene, and really we're going to give those West Coast guys a run for their fucking money. That's what's going to happen.
yeah.
We're going to bring New York back on top, and I think that starts with everybody getting to know you guys. So make sure you look up Paul Virzi, Alex Pavone, and thank y'all so much for coming, man.
Yeah, check
Thanks,
my
buddy.
dates on.
Yeah. Where can they see you, man?
This next weekend, I will be February 6th through 8th. I'll be at Comedy on State in Madison,
Great
Wisconsin.
club.
Oh,
so
I
I'm
heard
really,
that's a fun time.
I'm really excited to do that. And long ways out, June, I'll be at the Wilbur.
Hey,
so Wilbur
Boston.
Theater,
Oh,
man.
shit.
Get
That's-
tickets.
congratulations.
Get tickets. June 27th, man. I want to sell that place out. So please, thank you for
Boston, come
having
through.
me.
Yeah, of course.
And for other dates, check out paulvirzi.com. You can see all my tour dates on there.
And just go follow them on Instagram.
Yeah,
you
Mr.
can keep up with
Alex
everything.
Pavone. I
Mr.
got
Alex
my
Pavone.
Pavi's picks every day, daily, and
you go.
if you want to win a couple bucks, you follow the kid, and that's what you do.
And you got the Niners.
I got the Niners, and I like the over on the national anthem. Devi Lovato, she's going to showcase the pipes. 2 minutes, take the over.
What does that mean?
I mean, that
Oh,
means
no. What does that mean? What you just described?
The over under on the national
you
anthem.
bet the
Will
length
it-
of how long she's going to sing it.
I was like, she's gonna sing it. I'm taking that bet.
You know what? I'm gonna
There's
take.
somebody who's taking the over on not singing.
You know what?
The
You know what?
anthem.
Give me $2,000 on a halftime show. I think there's gonna be a halftime show.
Hey, real talk. You want to hustle? Let me tell you something. You want to hustle? If you know anybody in the media, they can hang out Friday and watch the rehearsal. And you can time the rehearsal.
There is a prop. Will Gloria Estefan show up for the halftime show? That looks like juicy odds. I think she will.
But did you hear what I just
Latina.
said?
Yeah.
Because if you watch the rehearsal, you time
Yeah,
that
I
bitch
know.
out. Now you know.
But you never know.
You could bet on a Gloria Estefan
Appearance,
show.
cameo.
Oh, she's gonna. Miami, she's gonna. Yeah, she's coming.
This is how you get hooked,
She's coming.
buddy.
She's coming.
Give me 50 on that.
Guys, it's been Flagrant 2. We love y'all. Peace.
God bless.